your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the fives, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, follow Crash Davis and his Durham Bulls story in a new genre. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
The Steph Curry moment there was really, that's a iconic moment in his career, but I've never seen a game end like the game that ended with the women. We're talking about 30-year winning streak. They haven't lost in the Olympics since 1992, and it was pretty close, 10 centimeters from forcing overtime. The U.S.'s lead in basketball is very narrow, but for another 4 years, both the men and women are Olympic champions, and they did it very admirably, and they earned it.
They did earn it, and those games were fantastic. And I thought those 2 games were a great way to cap off the Olympics that ended on Sunday. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Victoria's back!
I'm back!
Victoria's back, ladies and gentlemen. We can all rest easy. Victoria's back.
Back from Chi-Town.
Yeah, now, how was Chicago for
Oh, my goodness. So much fun.
Did your Cubs win any when
they
you were there?
did. They won 2 of the 3 games that we went to. Let's go, Cubs. So excited.
So on Wednesday last week, so I think they played the Twins.
Yes, they did.
On Wednesday last week.
That's the game I went to, and they lost.
Oh, well, okay. Well, now I know who to blame. Because when we did Place Your Bets, I actually sat in and produced for Adam that day. Because I went to Winston-Salem to watch All Elite Wrestling.
Oh, 336.
On the Joel.
My old
And sure thing, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and get one here for Victoria.
Nice.
I literally said that. So I'm like, give me the Cubs on the money line. It was like plus 125. Of course, they lost.
No.
The one game that they lost. 2 of the 3.
You know
they
what?
Won. The one behind the 1 and 2-1 was because of me, clearly, and I apologize,
no.
Victoria.
This is the same thing, Dennis, it was for Adam. You had placed a bet for Rory. That's it.
Oh, yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, for Rory McIlroy to
Rory.
win the U.S. Open.
And he lost. And you said you were doing it for Adam, too.
You got
to do the opposite. You have to do.
Oh, okay, that's how it is?
Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm doing that today then.
But they totally did win at least the other 2 games that we went to. So that was great. Thanks, Cubs. It was awesome. And the weather apparently was complete opposite of here. What happened, little Debbie?
Yeah,
what
little
are you doing?
Debbie. If only it rained Twinkies and Nutty Buddies.
I would be here for that.
Oh, gosh, if it rained Nutty Buddies.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be in a coma.
The oatmeal raisin,
right
Swiss roll cakes, zebra cakes. Man, drooling.
Now I'm hungry. People are out getting lunch right now. They're like, man.
Now I got to go to the grocery store.
They're going to go to the grocery store, like a Harris Teeter or a Publix to get a sub. And then you're like, you know what? Straight down that little end cap. Let's go past the Entenmann's Donuts. Boom.
Yep. The impulse buying aisle. All of it.
It's just right there. It's always by the milk.
Oh, yeah.
It's always by the milk. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. They know exactly what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They know exactly who they're targeting, and it's me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's me.
And it works.
I'm like, yeah, you want that gallon of 2%.
Of course.
And you want those Nutty Buddies.
All of them.
The large pack.
You're
Actually,
not
you know
gonna be
what?
able.
Smaller packs, 2 for $5. We'll put them on sale because they know I'm buying two.
Oh, and I can't pass up a sale either. So, no.
That's how
Give
they
them all
get you.
to me. Then you can't make a decision, so you're like, just buy both. Just get it all.
That's how they get you.
Every time.
That is 100% how they get you.
Yeah.
Maybe the Panthers can get something done this week.
Oh.
Let's get things started. Victoria, not much change since you were gone. They lost a preseason game. I was
going to say, Panthers lost.
First drive, they go 3 and out, had a couple drops. It's like Panthers are back, baby.
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
Familiar feeling.
Exactly. It's actually an off day today for the Carolina Panthers. I'm not going to lie. It's been a pretty grueling day, a few days for the Panthers. They had the preseason game on Thursday up in New England. For most guys, there's like 32, 33 guys that did not play for various reasons, whether starters or guys that were hurt, or, for example, like Nash Jensen, backup offensive lineman, was not there because his wife was having a child.
Oh, well, that's a good reason to
that's
not be there.
100% a great reason to not go. But because they also didn't have all their guys dressed to play and because of injuries, they literally only had 5 healthy offensive linemen to finish the game. That's why we saw a slew of moves, late last week of, okay, some of these guys get injured, waived, released, whatever it might be, and they signed a bunch of offensive linemen because they just need bodies. Simple as that, because, again, they didn't play any of their starters. We'll get into injuries and stuff a little bit more later on in the show. But they had padded practices. They practiced Saturday, had a padded practice on Sunday, which was super competitive. Apparently the offense looked good by all reports. By all accounts, the offense did really well. Yesterday, another padded practice, a little bit shorter in length. Apparently defense dominated yesterday by all accounts, where defense is like hooping and hollering after making a bunch of big plays, and the offense is was brought together for a little hey guys, one of those. When the conversation goes, hey guys, when it just starts, it's a hey guys conversation.
So I just gotta say,
hey guys, listen. If those are the first 3 words that comes out of a person's mouth,
you know where it's going.
It's generally not a good conversation. Hey guys, listen. It was the hey guys listen conversation. So that's what they went through. So again, pretty grueling set of few days for the team. Plus, there's some days last week as well leading up to the preseason game where they had padded practices. So it was kind of like really in the teeth of the preseason. So off day today. Tomorrow should be a lighter schedule because Thursday they got the joint practice with the New York Jets, which I think is going to be vital for this team going forward. Actually at 12:30, I'll tell you why not only the joint practice, but Saturday's preseason game against the Jets. I'll tell you who it's actually most vital for a person not named Bryce Young, even though it is vital for him. But we got news yesterday. I'm sure you may have heard this, Victoria, on your traveling back from Chi-Town. Hassan Reddick wants to be traded. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you Panther fans out there. Hassan Reddick is not coming back to Charlotte to play for the Carolina Panthers.
No.
Jets aren't going to trade him to Carolina. Jets said they're not going to trade him at all. They're saying, hey, he needs to be here with his teammates because he's holding out and he's being fined per the CBA. Now, we've seen what a lot of guys are doing or have done in recent seasons that they'll still go to training camp, but they're not practicing. Like, I'm here. You can't find me because I'm here, but it doesn't mean I got to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a way that players work around. Hassan Reddick was traded from the Philadelphia Eagles for a conditional 3rd-round pick this offseason, I should say, from the Eagles to the Jets. Now, apparently there was like the conversation before the trade was made was, hey, we'll get you over here and we'll work out a long-term deal while you're here, come to, by training camp and all that kind of stuff. We'll make sure we get something done with you, because generally teams aren't going to trade for a player going into a final year of a contract in the offseason unless they can work out a contract extension. That's just simply how it is. Like, for example, Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, is holding in. So he's at training camp, isn't doing anything. But apparently there's been a framework for a couple of trades, but there are a couple the teams that want to trade for him, he doesn't want to play for them. So those teams, of course, aren't going to give up assets and players or picks, whatever it might be, to trade for a guy who doesn't want to be there. Because again, GMs are going to work out a deal with an agent before making that move. Jets clearly dropped the ball with it, so Hassan Reddick holding out, but all that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, nonetheless, he's not coming back to Carolina. But I was thinking, Victoria, remember when?
Oh, have to go back if we're looking for good stuff.
Remember when? Hassan Reddick, Brian Burns, 2021. Reddick had 11 sacks. Burns, in just his third year, had 9. Each had a pair of forced fumbles. I was thinking, how great would it be, even after that season, how great would it be to have Hassan Reddick come back?
Oh, it would be nice.
How awesome.
I know.
That would have been so fun. Man, you could have had him. You could have signed him to the same 3-year, $45 million deal that the Eagles signed him to. And he was a Matt Rule guy. That's the reason why he came to Carolina after getting drafted in the first round by the Arizona Cardinals out of Temple, because he played for Matt Rule. Like, yeah, okay, maybe he had to bump it up to $16 million. That's okay. You could have made it happen. Could you imagine, Victoria?
That would be great.
You have Brian Burns.
If only.
And Reddick. Oh, and by the way, in 2020, you drafted Derek Brown. Imagine!
I know. Multiple sacks. We could have a season where we have multiple sacks.
Grab the microphone there. What could have been?
I know. I wish.
What could have been? Now we don't have either of those guys.
No.
And you turned down the 2 first-round picks, the first-round pick in 2024 and a first-round pick in 2025 and a second-round pick in 2025 for Brian Burns from the LA Rams. You turned those down. I mean, 2 first-round picks. Now, granted, the trade offer came in 2022, so you weren't able to capitalize on those until this year and next year. So I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, you pass up 2 firsts and a second for Brian Burns?
Exactly.
I'm not going to rehash that. But
still stings.
Even if Hassan Reddick was actually on the trade block and the Jets were actually willing to make a move, Panthers only have about $6 million or just over $6 million in cap space, according to Over the Cap. Friend Michael Kay from the Charlotte Observer, he posted that yesterday. I was like, really, it's that low? I knew it was tight, but I didn't realize it was that tight. So he's making $15 million this year. If you to trade to bring him in, you have to restructure his contract, or maybe even restructure the contract of a couple guys on your team just to make space for him this year. Like, they can't even afford him. It's amazing to me how the worst team in football at 2-15 last year has one of the worst salary cap situations.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, your roster still isn't that good, but yet you're pressed against the cap. It's one thing if, like, you went cheap and say, hey, we're going to go cheap. Like, we're obviously going to spend a bunch of money on, like, obviously Derek Brown and maybe a couple others, but we're going to be cheap at a few other spots. I get that, but dang.
Yeah. It's not like we're Tampa Bay where we spent all our money to get Brady so he could get a ring at least one year, because you have a ring to show for it.
You have a ring to show for it.
We got
exactly.
nothing.
Or at least, you could be in the situation that the New Orleans Saints are in, where they just kept pushing everything down the line years and years and years, and then eventually that bill's going to come due. But they can't even afford them. Like, this team under Scott Fitterer, the former general manager, clearly did not spend properly. You look at guys that are counting against the cap right now. Von Bell, safety, played just 1 year, counting almost $9.9 million against the salary cap. Hayden Hurst, tight end, played here just 1 year, didn't even play the whole season, unfortunately, due to concussion. He's counting just over $9.8 million this year. Dante Jackson, who they traded to the Steelers, is counting nearly $9.8 million. You're probably thinking, wait, he was traded to the Steelers. How is he still counting against the cap? In the NFL, they essentially treat players that were traded like players that are released when it comes to salary cap, dead cap money, and all that kind of stuff. So you're treating it essentially the same. So nonetheless, those 3 guys, factor in Bradley Bozeman, who was cut just after 2 years. He's counting $7.3 million. Because of the way you structure contracts for guys like DJ Chark and Justin Houston, just 1 year deals, but because of signing bonus and then dead cap stuff that gets pushed down the line, DJ Chark's still counting about $3.1 million. Justin Houston's still counting about $3.8 million. That's roughly $43 million.
Yeah.
Now, look, things on the bright side. Let's go to the bright side, Victoria.
Oh, is there a bright side?
There is,
okay.
actually.
Woo.
Because that $43 million bucks those guys you just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about that next year. That becomes available to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you could do with that. So I say all that to say this, something that we've talked about. So people have talked about, hey, let's go get Hassan Reddick. Trust me, I would love to see him back here. I would love it. Love to see him back in the Panther uniform. Him opposite of Jadeveon Clowney, awesome. Then you can throw in guys like K'Lavon Chason or guys like Echo Leota when the time is necessary to either a quick spell or like, hey, you know what? Let's get a whole bunch of edge rushers, out there on the field. The rebuild for the Carolina Panthers wasn't going to happen overnight. And the salary cap situation that they're in, because Dave Canales, I always say this year is the culture building year.
Yes,
for the Carolina Panthers. This year is the culture building year for the Carolina Panthers.
We had to tear everything down, so now you got to build it back up.
Exactly, and that's the reason why this offseason, that Dan Morgan, those guys, they got rid of Hayden Hurst. That's the reason why they got rid of Von Bell. It's the reason why they cut Bozeman. There's the reason why they didn't bring back DJ Chark. I mean, gosh, they cut Justin Houston like in the middle of the season last year. But again, the rebuild for this Panthers team is not going to happen overnight. And part of it was because A, new head coach, B, getting the right culture set in, but C, the salary cap situation wasn't great going into this offseason. And hopefully things are going to clear up going into next year. So the big questions are moving forward. All right, what about J.C. Horn? Does he stay healthy? Now, does he eat into a bunch of that money? You did pick up his fifth-year option, so you know he's going to be on your team next year, but are you going to extend him? There's a lot of different things that are going to factor into this. Ike Ekwonu is going to be a major question after the season. Are you going to pick up his fifth-year option depending on how he plays? Are you going to need to spend a bunch of money on a left tackle if you realize that, hey, Ike Ekwonu just ain't getting it done? Yashin Eastman, the guy, the offensive tackle, the swing tackle that they signed from the Green Bay Packers this offseason, he's still hurt. And according to Dave Canales, what he said earlier this past week, said it's still going to be a while before we see him. And he was supposed to be the backup tackle on both the left and right side. So we talk about building depth on the team. We saw it on Thursday. It's thin already, and guys are nicked up. So in order to build depth, you got to be able to pay guys. You got to be able to sign quality players. And they just didn't really have that fully this offseason. So the rebuild for this Panthers team is taking time. It's going to take some time. And again, that money, all that $43 million that I just mentioned, who knows where that goes next year. And I think that's also part of the reason why the Brian Burns trade happened, is because I don't know if they're actually able to fit the guys on the roster that they have now if they still have Brian Burns.
Yeah.
That's something to keep in mind, too. When they traded Brian Burns, yeah, you got the second-round pick this year, and they have like the fifth-round pick swap, and then the fifth-round pick next year and all that stuff. But also freed up about $24 million in cap space because you didn't have that franchise tag anymore, which allowed you to sign other guys that you needed. So you got to look at the trade about what you were able to gain, not just what you got from the Giants. But nonetheless, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But to think what could have been, Victoria.
I know. I even
what
made
could have been. I'm like, gosh, I'm just sort of thinking, we could have Burns, like for the last 3 years, we could have Burns, Reddick, and Derek Brown.
I know. It'd be nice. I even made a tweet, and I really, really try to be. I'm always usually optimistic anyway, but when it comes to the Panthers, it's so difficult. While I'm in Chicago, I'm like, I'm ready for a season where I go into it actually feeling genuinely optimistic, and I don't feel it.
Well, let me ask you this. What was the Caleb Williams love up there like?
Yeah. Well, I mean
he looked good in his first preseason game.
People they're behind him.
But clearly.
Obviously. So they're excited. I mean, Bears fans are excited, which you should be.
Yes, you should be.
Panthers Jr., you should be excited about your team this year.
Panthers Jr. Panthers Jr.
Panthers 2.0. Yeah.
Did you see DJ Moore while you were up there?
I didn't.
Okay.
I would have waved at him, though.
I'm sure you would have
like
hugged and say, hey, I miss you.
I know. I would have.
all the way up here from North Carolina.
Catch this love, DJ,
say,
like you do those balls.
I miss you.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. I miss the Olympics, Victoria.
Me too.
I miss the Olympics. I know you were gone last week and all that, but the Olympics to me, I'm still was kind of like riding a high of that yesterday, and not just because of the gold medal games for USA men's and women's basketball. My girlfriend and I were locked in watching those games. The U.S. women's national soccer team winning against Brazil in a very exciting game. Just the whole competition of the Olympics, the spirit of the games, the athletes were tremendous, the races were spectacular. Everything was just about the games just felt awesome.
Yeah.
And the way they highlighted the city I thought was great. I mean, gosh, every time I see Mike Tirico was sitting on that couch, talking to whomever or going over highlights, whatever it might be, to see the Eiffel Tower with the big Olympic rings.
Super cool.
I was like, this is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This is just awesome. And I'm hoping that we get that same feeling in 4 years in 2028 in LA. It was kind of cool because they took the Hollywood sign and they made the O's like part of the Olympic rings.
Nice.
Which I thought was kind of cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that's smart. Whoever came up with that idea, I'm like, I didn't think of it, but whomever did.
Yeah, good job.
Awesome job. But I watched a lot of the basketball just because it's USA basketball, so you
Yeah.
get to see some of the best players. But I've always been really intrigued by the international style of play, like FIBA level or FIBA style of basketball, some that we see in Europe. I really enjoy that style of play.
Yeah.
And I really hope, I doubt this is going to happen, but I think there are aspects of basketball that we see internationally that I think need to be implemented here in the United States when it comes to development of players. So FIBA has different rules than the NCAA, and there are a couple variations of FIBA rules that are different with the NBA as well. I'm a big fan of the goaltending rule in FIBA. Some people might disagree with that. That's totally fine. The rule with goaltending in FIBA is once the ball touches the rim, it's fair game, both offensively and defensively. So we saw this multiple times in the gold medal game, USA versus France. A shot would come up for France offensively. It hit rattle around the rim, bounce up, and the ball's sitting right above the rim. And Victor Wembanyama just comes in and just dunks it down. There's a couple times where it was like Kevin Durant and LeBron were like, hey, that's goaltending, it's over the cylinder. And I'm like, that's not the rule. That's fair game. But here's the thing. It works defensively as well. Ball touches the rim and it's right there above the cylinder. You could swat it away or just grab it. That's what you could do. And I actually like that because I think it's a element of the game that we don't see that I think can really alter games in a different way. And I think if you have really smart and savvy players, they could benefit. Your team can benefit from that on both sides of the ball. I mean, I think actually someone who really adapted well to international style of play and actually adapted well to those types of rules was Carmelo Anthony. I think Carmelo Anthony actually played some of his best basketball when playing for Team USA internationally because he was able to adapt to those rules. And that's actually something I thought that he did really, really well. And I thought there's a couple times where there are some shots put up by France or in the game against Serbia in the medal round where the ball was just kind of sitting there above the rim. And I was like, Anthony Davis is standing there. I'm like, knock it away, grab it, don't let it go in. I would say they're don't let it go in. But you've been trained your whole life to wait until the ball is away from the cylinder to go grab it. So, again, it's hard to recondition those players. But there are parts of the game that I really like in terms of, and some people are going to hate this, because people hate the traveling rules when it comes to the NBA. Travel rules in the NBA are the same as FIBA. So, in college basketball, this is where I really want to see the game change. And I think this is actually where we're hurting the development of basketball players in the United States. In FIBA and in the NBA, you have what's called a gather step. So, when you end your dribble, let's say your right foot is on the floor, that's technically the gather step when you end your dribble, or step 0, technically. Then you get 2 steps. Whereas in college, as soon as you pick up your dribble and your foot's on the floor, that is considered your first step. Then you just get your second step. I want to see, that's where we get the term Euro step and all that coming in, because it's that style of getting to the rim and how the creativity that FIBA players or international players in Europe and overseas have that development at a young age because they play through those rules. So that's when they get to the NBA. These international players have the footwork that's a little bit more advanced, and some of the ball skills a little bit more advanced than what we see guys coming out of college. That's where guys like Luka Doncic can come right from Slovenia or playing overseas, wherever, and step into the NBA and has the footwork to handle things right away. Now, some guys adapt to it really well from college to the NBA. Kyrie Irving is one of the best at it. in terms of using creativity about like, okay, when are you actually picking up your dribble and what steps you can take after that? There's different creative ways that I think guys overseas have an advantage of over athletes or basketball players here in the United States. I would like to see that rule implemented in college basketball. I would like to see those same rules that we see in the NBA when it comes to travel and FIBA. I want to see those things in college basketball, so I think it would actually make the game better.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would make the game better. I think it advances the game. And also, I'd like to see college basketball go to 4 quarters.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's advance the game of college basketball. The reason why I say this is because we're in the state of North Carolina where college basketball is king. Mm-hmm. College basketball is part of the culture of this state. I want to see the game continue to grow and elevate. And I think college basketball, the NCAA level, needs to continue to evolve and grow. Especially if you want to make sure that your game is more relevant outside of the month of March.
Yeah.
Because right now, college basketball has been reduced down to that. And I love college basketball. And this upcoming college basketball season, I think is going to be fun. I know it's weird to talk about that in August when football is here. But college basketball has to be more than just March. And I think if we're able to grow and evolve the game where the players can get better and play a little bit of a different style, I think it's going to grow the game even more because we're so used to seeing NBA style of play. Now, NBA style of play in terms of ball handling, in terms of the different rules and skill sets, those kinds of things, I want to see these players develop that a little bit more. And also I think it can help college players get ready for the NBA.
Yeah.
I think it just to me, I think it helps the game. Make it 4 quarters.
I know. I don't know why it's not 4 quarters.
It was interesting also watching Olympic games. Like, wow, 4 10-minute quarters. Like, these are just 40-minute games. I'm like, usually in college, usually in the NBA, they play 48 minutes in the NBA. Not usually, they do. Mm-hmm. And it just thinking, I'm like, wait a second. I hope the players realize this, for USA, that, hey, you know what? When the ball, is inbound to start the second quarter, it's already at 10 minutes. Like, you don't have it's 12-minute quarters. We have like a whole 24 minutes that they can have. No, you don't. You have 20.
Mm-hmm.
But the games were fun. And I hope there are different things that we saw in the Olympics that we see internationally that I think that we can adopt here in the U.S. to make what we do better. Plus, as well, here, keep this in mind, is the international game is catching up to the U.S.
Oh, yeah. They were a lot more competitive than previous Olympics.
It's so close now.
Yes.
It's so close. So you know what? If you want to stay ahead of the curve, adapt. You want to stay ahead of the curve in terms of what Europe and, like, for example, what France, what Spain, what Serbia, some of these other countries have done. You have to adopt your style of play at a younger age than just NBA players trying to adjust on the fly. Adjust the game at the college level. That's going to make USA basketball even better. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria is back.
Yeah,
Victoria's back.
I'm back in North Carolina.
Panthers are back at Bank of America Stadium this Saturday. Preseason game number 2. I'm going to tell you who, and it's not Bryce Young, that is going to benefit most from live reps with the first team offense on the field. I'll tell you that in 4 minutes.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's time for our 12 o'clock keyword in our Fan Football Flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. This hour's word is line. Text LINE to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas and see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's word is line. Good luck from 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Golden Studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good
it's
luck.
like thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're
We're
fast.
good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
Are you ready to rule the realm? With a new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Want a great deal on Mountain Dew? Handy Hugo's offering 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews for just $4. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
So Saturday evening at Bank of America Stadium, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria is back producing the show.
Back in North Carolina. Feels good.
So this Saturday at Bank of America Stadium, preseason game number 2 for the Carolina Panthers. And I said before the break, there's one person that's going to benefit most from the first team offense being out there on the field. Guy not named Bryce Young. Now, obviously, for Bryce Young, for reasons that's been stated multiple times that he needs to be on the field, we've been through all that. And I absolutely think that he should not only obviously get tons of reps on Thursday, he needs reps live in action in a game setting on Saturday as well. People say, well, he got joint practices. Well, guess what? He gets joint practices last year against the Jets. He played in the preseason game as well. Played 2 series. Dave Canales is the one that actually needs the reps as much as possible. So last week on Thursday against the New England Patriots on the road, you kind of got your first reps as a head coach. And I speak to this from the experience of I used to coach college lacrosse, did it for 9 years. When I went from assistant coach to head coach, there are a lot of things that I had to learn. And a lot of stuff you didn't realize until you actually did it on the fly, like in an actual game. Like you can be super prepared, like, okay, if we get this situation, this is how I'm going to manage the bench. This is how I'm going to do my substitutions, whatever it might be. This is what I'm going to delegate to my other coaches to do. I understand all that, but until you actually get in the game, you don't know really how you're going to handle things. And this is where I think it's vital for Dave Canales to have it as a first-year head coach and being the play caller. He needs his first-team guys out there vitally. Like, it is imperative for Dave Canales to have those live reps on the field, in a stadium, in a game, on the sideline with a headset on, not just standing, 10 yards back from Bryce Young taking a snap and giving instructions from there. They need to do it in a game setting. He kind of got a little taste of it on Thursday last week. Now, granted, it was with Jack Plummer, who's their third-string quarterback, which I totally get. The guy's destined to be on the practice squad, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Didn't have your starting offensive line out there. The only guys somewhat resembling maybe your regulars offensively that were on the field were Jonathan Mingo, Amir Smith-Marset, Terrace Marshall Jr., and I guess you might want to throw tight end Jordan Matthews in there. We'll talk about Jordan Matthews actually here in a little bit. That's all you had offensively. Dave Canales needs the live reps of calling plays to Bryce, and then after a series, those guys come off the field, and he asks Bryce, what did you see? Then he turns to Deontay Johnson. Deontay, what did you see? All right, Adam Thielen, what did you see? Hey, offensive line, what did you guys see? Austin Corbett, what did you see? Austin Corbett needs live reps with Bryce Young. All those guys need live reps together. Thursday, you have the training wheels on. You have the training wheels on as a coaching staff. Guess what? Time to take the training wheels off. Time to take them off. Yeah, you're going to get a ton of reps on Thursday. Bunch of live reps. But guess what? Thursday, joint practice, still practice. It's still controlled. Because guess what you can do as a coach sometimes? Hey, you know what? Hey, can we get like 15 seconds here? Just to kind of go over something here real fast? You're not going to get that in a game. Plus, as well, is that they have two fields down there in Charlotte at their practice facility, the Carolina Panthers do. They have two fields. They're literally one right next to the other, and you can see Bank of America from it. But on one field is going to be the Panthers offense against the Jets defense. And on the other field, Jets offense against the Panthers defense. You're not going through any true live game situations, really. Like, you could simulate it as much as possible, but you're not really going through live stuff. When I played lacrosse in college, we used to have scrimmages against other teams, during the preseason or leading up to the first game. And there are times where, like, on one half of the field, it'd be like, all right, I was a defenseman, so like my defense, like we'd be on one side of the field against another team's offense, and the other side of the field would be vice versa, just so you can get a bunch of reps in and all those kinds of things, like in half field situations. It wasn't actual live games. Now we eventually would scrimmage, and it was good for our head coach to manage substitutions, manage personnel, adjust, doing different things on the fly. It was good for us. And again, I harken back to the time where I coached lacrosse. I needed those scrimmage games badly, because there are things during the course of a game that I just kind of missed because your head's spinning. You got so many different things going on. You miss stuff, and this is where you have to rely on your coaching staff and whether your position coach or Brad Isaac, the offensive coordinator, to tell you certain things that you might not be seeing, and have that communication with your actual first-team offense, not your second/third team guys. Those are going to be vital for Dave Canales. Dave Canales, for him, for you, sir, it is time to take the training wheels off. You got to do this with your guys. You have to. Because you're doing yourself a disservice. Not just Bryce Young or the offense. You're doing yourself a disservice by not having your guys out there. You really want to make the first time you actually go out onto a field, lights on, headset, sideline, game kicks off in a game that actually counts, without having done anything yet to that point in
It's
a
a bad
game
idea.
with those guys.
No.
It's not a good idea. You need that as much as possible. And this is where I know Dave Canales talked about they have a plan. They have a plan. Okay, you have a plan for your team. What's your plan for you? Like, you also have to think about you in these situations. What's best for you too? Because you want to talk about what's best for the team, you're part of it. You're just as much, if not the biggest piece of it. So what's best for you, Dave? My opinion, I think what's best, you got to have your guys out there. Doesn't have to be the whole game, obviously. It's preseason. 2 drives, like go a quarter. Preseason game number 3, maybe go a half. Script those first 8-9 plays with Bryce. You know it going in. This is what we're going to do, guys. We got 4 runs and 5 passes called. These are our first 9 plays. Here's our audible or checks with me at the line. And we'll adjust from there. Have 2 series, maybe 3, depending on if you like it or not. Maybe you just walk right down the field in 8 plays and score after going 75 yards on a first drive. You know what? Hey, guys, good. Call it a day. Feel good. Or maybe you do that and you say, hey, you know what? Now we have to follow it up. Let's back it up. This is what they're doing. We expect them to do this. This is how we counter. You got to do those things. So Dave Canales, you need the reps just as much as anyone else does. And your reps are as vital as anyone's because you have to manage the whole team, not just the offense. You have to manage the whole team. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. By the way, if you want to jump in on the conversations, the Adam Gold Show can be found online on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. You can lock in with us right there. You can subscribe. All the content that's put out there on that page from the Adam Gold Show and other podcasts or other shows that are part of that page. Follow along with that content as well, but you can stream or watch this live. We stream it on YouTube. Jump in the comments section. If you disagree with what I'm saying, the comment section's there. Whether it's on live or the videos that get produced and posted during the game, during the show, it's all there, Victoria, for the people.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm ready.
Victoria's watching. I actually have it up as well. So if you have a thought, just say it. Or you can tweet at me at the fan rookie if you want to go that route. Or
you can say hi.
Or you just say hey.
I like to say hi to people.
Just say hello. We're going to say hello to some one-timers coming up.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Football's fast approaching. Time to get in on all the action early this year. And Adam Gold here for FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You may have a favorite NFL future bet, like passing yards for your favorite quarterback, or maybe will your team make the playoffs? And you can parlay everything together for even bigger payouts. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. No better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Just go to FanDuel.com/AGS. Sign up today. FanDuel.com/AGS. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Your North Carolina Zoo is open year-round, and a family membership is a wonderful way to enjoy a wild outdoor experience. Members can bring guests at a discount and enjoy seeing animals from North America, Africa, plus a global desert. Your North Carolina Zoo membership is recognized by over 150 zoos and aquariums nationwide, offering free or reduced admission. Make your next visit to the North Carolina Zoo as a member rather than a visitor. Learn more about family memberships at nczoo.org.
Have you lost North Carolina Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Real quick NFL note. So Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy missed practice with knee soreness, and tests revealed a meniscus issue that will undergo surgery, according to both Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero.
Yikes.
So during the surgery, they'll determine whether they just need to trim or repair the meniscus. Kind of depends on what part of the meniscus is actually torn. A repair of the meniscus potentially could take several weeks or even months. Just a trim could take a few weeks. So big news coming out of for those that might be Vikings fans. But hey, they have Sam Darnold.
Oh, we all know
have
that
Sam
guy.
Darnold.
Yeah. Sam
Look
Darnold.
at that former Panther is just
Sammy
making news.
Wow, just all over the place. Yeah,
everywhere.
All the teams.
Like, hey, but that's also one of the reasons why. Like, for example, with Bryce Young, that's the reason why they brought in Andy Dalton. You want to have that veteran insurance, right?
Yeah.
With J.J. McCarthy, they drafted first round, but they had Sam Darnold, veteran insurance, in case either A, McCarthy gets hurt, or B, wasn't ready to go. In this case, he might be a little bit nicked up. So in all seriousness, I hope he's okay and is able to come back and ready to go. I hate seeing guys get hurt.
Yeah.
As someone who's been injured playing sports, it sucks.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
And it's early, too. Season hasn't even started.
I know. Gosh, to think we're still, a month away?
Right. Man.
Still, not actually more than that, I think.
But it's close.
Now I got to consult the calendar. Now I have all the games listed on my own personal. It's first game of the year is September the 8th.
There you
go.
The
Panthers are on the road at the old New Orleans Saints. So we're less than a month.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm ready. breakout sweaters too. Let's do it.
I need hoodies.
I know.
I need hoodies. I need cool, crisp breeze in the air.
Yeah.
And I need a nice little outdoor fire pit.
Yeah.
I need these things.
It's perfect.
With my hammock. Oh,
I love
gosh.
fall.
See, I'm just thinking of like taking the motorcycle on the ride. I rode the motorcycle today because it's not sweltering out. So ready for a motorcycle ride. I hang up the hammock.
Sweatshirts and short season. I'm a fan.
Wonderful.
I'm a fan.
But until then, let's hit some one-timers. All right, V, what you got?
Okay, it's been a minute. So I know there's been a lot going on while I've been gone. You want to talk about the Cubs? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
I could do it.
They're better than the White Sox.
So everybody's better than the White Sox. Barf.
I think the Durham Bulls could beat the White Sox.
They could. They absolutely
in a
could.
sweep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So looking at college football first.
Give me.
Mac Brown still has not picked his starting QB out of 3 of them. So who do you think, just a personal opinion, who do you think he should go with out of the 3?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. It all depends on what they want their offense to look like. I know Mac Brown had talked about it earlier this week, maybe even over the weekend, about how like Max Johnson, the transfer from Texas A&M, has played a lot. He's a pocket-style passer. Jacoby Criswell, who Jacoby Criswell backed up Drake May. A little bit different style quarterback. But Connor Harrell, who backed up last year. More speed. You can run the option. There's a lot of different stuff that he can bring to the team. I remember last year I went to the game when they played Campbell, and like his first play was like 60-something yards, like, go. Like just himself take the ball, just was able to just run down the field. So it kind of depends on what your offense, what do you want it to look like? You know, if you have Connor Harrell back there with the ball, like there's the element of the potential run with him. Does that free up Omarion Hampton more? Like, and also how does your offensive line, like your blocking schemes and how you block, it all adjusts depending on what you have back there. If you have just a traditional pocket style quarterback, that's a little bit different. I think Harrell adds a dynamic with his legs that I think can really open things up for the offense. So I think it might be Harrell, personally, but that's just my gut.
Yeah,
that's just my gut.
Well, along those same lines, do you think that this is a good or bad way to approach the football season, having multiple QBs?
I don't mind a QB competition. I really don't. I think that's fine. I think the earlier you make that decision, it's better for your team as a whole, because now you can fully game plan how you want to build your offense. In terms of, like I just mentioned, everything, like Connor Harrell brings a different skill set than Max Johnson. Not saying one is better than the other. They're just different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's important for the guys on the field to know what to expect going into week 1. That way they can fully adapt and to adjust. Like, hey, if Max Johnson's our guy, okay, we have a pocket-style quarterback. This is how offensively, how I'm going to do my job in terms of offensive line, play calling, all those things. It all is going to be dictated by who your QB is. I think the sooner you make that decision, the better. And I think Mac did say that. I know they have another scrimmage this coming Saturday, like an inter-squad. And I think that's really what we're going to start to see, you know, who's going to be first team, who's going to be second team, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I left, came back over a week, and Seth Jarvis is still not locked in.
No,
what
he's not.
are we doing? Why has this not happened yet?
Because there's no need to get it done right now. Training camp by the way, it's 5 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 5 weeks from today is the first preseason game for the Carolina Hurricanes. 5 weeks from today.
Yep.
Let me consult the calendar once again. But if I remember correctly, it's a Tuesday. It's 5 weeks from today. Yes, it is. It's 5 weeks from today. On the 24th of September, we get the first preseason game for the Carolina Hurricanes. Training camp starts probably like a week beforehand, probably like the 16th, that Monday beforehand. So right around that time is when training camp starts. Like, that's when you just need to get a deal done. He can't be signed to an offer sheet. That window's already closed. He's not going anywhere. I think it's just kind of coming down to like dollars and cents. But you know what? There's no urgency right now. They're probably like, hey, you know what? Let's take a few weeks. We'll come back. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. Now, if camp starts and they, okay, that's a little bit different. But then he's going to be fine.
Okay. Well, moving on to the Panthers. So we did see their first preseason game. Of course, it was a loss. What would you say that you saw might be the biggest thing, keeping in mind that it is preseason? I understand that. But the biggest thing that you think they need to work on?
Yes.
All of it?
All of it?
All of it.
It's hard to truly tell because, again, it's all second-team guys. I don't know what their biggest thing to work on is because we didn't see the first unit out there. I think it's a cop-out answer, Victoria. I'm sorry about that, but I think that's actually probably is the issue, is that we don't know what they need to work on.
Yeah.
Is because we haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it. We don't know like if, all right, is Bryce Young, how he's reading the defense with this, this offense. Like, how are they executing things? Like, how is Deontay Johnson, or he and Bryce Young on the same page? Maybe it's just, hey, we all have an understanding and grasp of the offense. We just need to have timing down.
Yeah.
We just don't know that because we didn't see it. So, can you work on your offensive line depth right now? I don't know if you can because I still have major concerns about it right now, offensive line depth, because Damian Lewis, their starting left guard that they signed this offseason, still dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. We'll see if he plays this coming week. Yashin Eastman, who we talked about in the first segment about 30 minutes ago, it might be a while before he's back, and he's supposed to be your backup tackle, both on the left and right side. Might be a while before he even steps on the field. So basically, Brady Christensen is your backup across everywhere right now. Like, things can get real thin real fast. So that's my biggest concern coming out of that first preseason game. I know Chandler Zavala, according to Pro Football Focus, had really good grades, but I take Pro Football Focus grades with a couple grains of salt and a few cracks of black pepper.
Yeah. Okay, well, this last one. Okay. It's going to be a little lighthearted one because the Olympics is over.
I know.
And
Gosh, the Olympics are so fun.
I'm pretty sure I asked Adam this before I went to Chicago, but what sport do you think should be in the Summer Olympics when it comes back around to America?
Well, they actually are adding, and my sport, lacrosse, is going to be added to the Olympics in 2028, which is phenomenal. And that's exactly where it needs to be because there are over, believe it or not, 92 countries that compete in the sport of lacrosse. It's about as international as it gets, folks. But baseball and softball are coming back, which I think is great. I know squash is coming in. Another one that's also being added is cricket, which, believe it or not, cricket is the second most popular sport internationally behind soccer.
It is.
So I think cricket actually coming in, actually, from a worldwide standpoint, actually makes the most sense.
I know Adam's going to be excited if they do.
Well, of course he is. Does this mean I have to, when we do place our bets in an hour, do I do a cricket bet? Is that what I got to do?
Maybe, yeah.
All right, well, I'm obligated to mention soccer on the Adam Gold Show. There's the mention. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. That's Victoria. Thank you for the one-timers there, V. Coming up, Carolina Panthers aren't getting Hassan Reddick, folks. Hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep
sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist. And if you are a contact lens wearer, I'm going to save you time and money. You know how much time it takes to put in contacts, take them out, clean them, and do all of that. You know how much money it costs to get all the solutions and things you need for contacts plus glasses, prescription sunglasses. Now go to Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830, and get rid of all of it. Make the call, 919-510-6830 and TraversLASIK.com.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
You know it's going to be a good day when your biggest concern in the morning is collecting the crumbs falling from the McDonald's crispy chicken biscuit. Your only concern should be, has your day peaked too early?
Start your morning off on a high note when you save on a warm and buttery crispy chicken biscuit for just $2.50. Only at McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Whether it's the future of college football or my love for the Ryder Cup, it's all found in the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Bill Parcells used to always say preseason games don't count unless you lose. Well, I mean, we have to apply that same logic to the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams. If he went out there and stuck up the joint, we'd absolutely be talking about it, and people would be putting stock in it. If Caleb Williams went out there and threw 4 interceptions like Stetson Bennett did, what would we lead the show with today? Caleb Williams throwing 4 interceptions. But because he didn't, then everybody's like, okay, cool, this is what he was supposed to do. Number 1 pick, led a couple of scoring drives. That's how he's supposed to play. So credit to the kid for not screwing it up.
I mean, Victoria was just in Chicago. I mean, so basically, eyewitness accounts, Victoria. Caleb Williams is the next the greatest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not the next thing. He is the thing. Right?
Yep.
According to all the peoples?
Apparently. It's the bestest. We'll see.
What could have been. But hey, you know what? I'm still holding out hope on Bryce Young. I still am. I think it's still too early to call it. It was just one terrible, awful, no good, very bad season.
Yeah. About that.
But you know what? We're moving on from that, Victoria.
Okay.
By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. If you want to give me a follow on X or any social media, at the Fan Rookie. V to the Victoria.
There's some underscores in there.
There's some socials.
Yep,
Start spelling Victoria, then Vodnecker. Just
yeah,
start
once
spelling Vodnecker.
you just put that in, and it's like boom.
You'll
if
find
there's
her.
2 of us, let me know.
Yeah, exactly. Let her know at V to the Victoria.
There's a problem if there's 2 of them around.
That's the way to let her know. And unfortunately, I'm here to let everyone here know that Hassan Reddick will not be a Carolina Panther.
Oh.
I know he was here in 2021 and things were awesome with him and Brian Burns as edge rushers. To think what could have been. To think if they just had brought him back after the 1-year deal that he signed, had a really good season. To think they could just had the last 2 with he and Brian Burns and Derek Brown.
Yep.
Pretty solid front. Sounds awesome right now, but we don't have him nor Brian Burns. So Hassan Reddick, who's played the last 2 years with the Philadelphia Eagles, was traded this offseason for a conditional 3rd-round pick to the New York Jets. And this is in very New York Jets fashion. By the way, this is take 2. This is a take 2 on this. There it is. So in very New York Jets fashion, they fumbled this because Jets. That's the only thing we need to say. So Hassan Reddick, who hasn't even gone through like a walkthrough or a mini camp practice or anything like that with the New York Jets after being traded to them, has requested a trade. If he requests it or did he demand it? Because those are 2 different things. Requesting a trade, hey, I want to be traded. I demand to be traded. 2 different things. Still, he wants out. That's the bottom line. And I know myself, when I heard the news yesterday, I was like, whoo, imagine him back in a Carolina Panthers uniform. How fun would that be? Him opposite of Jadeveon Clowney. Like, you know what? Jadeveon Clowney, what we've heard, disruptor in a positive way.
I like it.
Him opposite with Hassan Reddick. Like, I like the sound of this.
Especially with not having Burns. I like it.
Bingo. Because right now, DJ Johnson's your opposite starting edge rusher.
Yep.
Oh, that's where we are, folks. But it's not going to happen for a multitude of reasons. One, outside of the Jets saying that, hey, we're not going to trade him. Outside of that, Panthers just don't have the salary cap to make it worth. I didn't realize, it was Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer, I know posted this on X yesterday, so I want to give him credit because this is where I first saw the number. Panthers only have about $6.1 million in cap space. That's it. That's it.
Right. What do we
do?
do?
You got to think, like, people are like, wait a second, we have such an incomplete roster.
I know.
How are we so pressed to the salary cap?
We're garbage. We should have money at least.
You would think. You would think, like, hey, you know what? We're going to get, like, a bunch of young guys, like, whether it's get a bunch of draft picks, undrafted rookies, like, so cheaper contracts, and we're going to try and build our team, like, build a core through there, then we'll supplement the roster in the coming seasons, you know, with free agents and those kinds of things. They didn't get a chance to do that this year because they tried to, they being the now general manager, Dan Morgan, and new head coach, Dave Canales, they try to trim away some of the stuff from the past. This obviously goes to show you how poorly the former GM, Scott Fitterer, managed this team. Now, again, there's still the hovering cloud there of the helicopter parent of David Tepper. But we're not going to dive into that. But under Scott Fitterer, they signed guys like Von Bell last year. Because now, again, last year, they went all in. They think, hey, you know what? We're going to go all in to get this rookie QB. David Tepper himself even said, hey, you know what? We don't need top-end wide receivers. We're going to have a quarterback that's going to elevate them. Put the pressure on the young guy from the get-go. We're going to get this all-star coaching staff, bring them in together, and we're going to go sign these other free agents. That's where we saw Adam Thielen get signed. Hey, we need that deep threat. Let's go get the DJ Chark. Ooh, let's get another tight end. How about Hayden Hurst? Ooh, how about defensively? Let's get Von Bell to be a safety. And let's get another like experienced edge rusher. Let's get Justin Houston. Let's get those guys. Von Bell cut after one season, counting about $9.9 million against the salary cap. Hayden Hurst cut just after one season. Unfortunately, concussions and stuff Didn't even get to play a full season last year, counting just over $9.8 million. Dante Jackson, one of their corners that they traded away to the Pittsburgh Steelers, is counting nearly $9.8 million because the way the NFL works, trading a player is essentially the same as cutting a player when it comes to dead cap. It's weird how it works. Don't ask me how to explain the NFL and their reasoning for it. Bradley Bozeman, their center from last year, got cut, counting nearly $7.3 million. DJ Chark, the guy I just mentioned, dead cap hit of about $3.1 million this season. Justin Houston, who I mentioned, counting about dead cap hit of $3.8 million this season. That's roughly $43 million. So, yeah, you could have had Hassan Reddick the first time, but you didn't keep him. You let him go. It just kind of goes to show you how over the last 3 years, when it was Rule and then Frank Reich, but with Scott Fitter at the helm, like just they were constantly chasing something and as opposed to sticking with a plan. And like just looking at that just kind of reminds you of it. And this is where I remind people that this rebuild for the Carolina Panthers is not happening overnight. I've called this season, I've labeled this year as the culture building year for Canales. For the new head coach, Dave Canales. It's all about building the culture and establishing the culture that they want to have. And for Dan Morgan to find the guys that fit the culture. Dan Morgan and Dave Canales go back to Seattle together. They've had conversations about what they would want a team to look like. So guess what? Now you get to do it. Dan Morgan wants those dogs. DAWGS.
Right.
Dogs.
Got that dog in him.
Needs those. Okay, let's find those guys. Dave Canales, establish the culture and make sure you do it with those guys. And guess what? If they don't fit the culture, move on from them. Now, that $43 million I just mentioned a moment ago, that all comes available to you next year. That dead cap, don't have to worry about that next year. At least for those guys I mentioned. Now, there might be some guys that get released this offseason, like a Miles Sanders, which you'll have a little bit of a dead cap hit, but will probably save you money. So there's the potential of that. Is there a team out there that might want to go trade for an Adam Thielen? Like, hey, you know what? That veteran wide receiver just might be the thing that puts us over. So that's potential out there. Possibility. But that $43 million, you have a lot of things to determine this offseason. Is Ike Ekwonu a starting left tackle in this league? Rookie year suggested, yeah. Rookie year suggested, absolutely. The way he continued to build and get better every single game. Then Ike Ekwonu last year, not so good.
So bad. And it
Not
was
great, Bob.
It was so disappointing, too, because the way he ended the season, we thought, okay, now it's clicking.
You would think that natural progression, year
Yeah.
one to year two. Okay, sophomore slump, we'll give you that. But again, we talked about how we give grace periods to guys like Jonathan Mingo, Bryce Young. Like, I think for some of those young guys, you got to give a little bit of grace for those too. All right, you've acknowledged, Ike Ekwonu, that you didn't take advantage of the resources that you had last year. You rode the coattails of your rookie season. You acknowledged it. Now let's see if you fixed it. I mean, he's got all the physical tools. There's a reason why he went 6th. And a lot of people had him as a top 10 guy. So there's a reason why. Let's actually see it this upcoming year. So that $43 million, that was all like a byproduct of the mismanagement of Scott Fitterer. Next year, that hopefully all that's available to you. And guess what you get to do? Hopefully continue to build and correct the mistakes of regimes past. But I'm sorry, Hassan Reddick's not going to be a Carolina Panther. As fun as it is to think about. Remember when, Victoria? Just think about remember when. Just also think, remember when and what could have been.
We got to go way back, though. If we're thinking positive.
To 3 years ago when we had Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns.
We got to go way back. All the positive stuff is, it's back there.
But you know what? I've said this and I'll say it again. I love the direction that Canales and Dan Morgan are taking the team.
Yes.
I love the direction that these guys are going. We're actually going to hear from their tight end, Jordan Matthews, so I actually thought had a really good preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a case as to why I think he should be on the roster. We'll have that conversation coming up in a little bit. But hearing guys like him talk about Canales and others, guys who've been around the league in different spots, talk about, yeah, this guy's just different in a good way. And the way he has a plan and building the team and building the culture, I think this team is heading in the right direction. I just hope the helicopter parent doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
The helicopter parent being David Tepper.
Yes. Stay out of the kitchen and hold on to your beverage, please. Thank you. Oh, my God.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria sitting on the other side of the glass today. The AP Top 25 poll came out yesterday for college football. AP Top 25. I'm going to look at the top 10. And guess what you could do? I'm going to poke holes in pretty much all, basically 2 through 10. Number 1's a lock. We're going to poke holes in the top 10 coming up.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's time for our 1 o'clock keyword in our Fan Football Flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. This hour's word is Jersey. Text Jersey to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas and see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's word is Jersey. Good luck from 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader. Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. I know Adam's not here today. Did he retire? No, he did not. I'm not ready to retire, but when I am ready to retire, rest assured that Coach Pete DeRuta, just like he can help you, can help me get to retirement with everything I need to live the life I want to live, which is free of radio. For you, it might be free of whatever your job is. So let's find out if you can do it. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700 and let Coach Pete come up with a total customized retirement plan for you that will help you have everything you need financially to live a life of leisure in retirement. But you got to find out and you got to call now. And by the way, that customized retirement plan is $1,000 value. Yours free if you call right now. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700 and retire on your terms with Coach Pete DeRuta.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria, I have a correction to make.
Yes.
So when during one-timers, when you asked me about Seth Jarvis, and I said, first preseason game is 5 weeks away. It's 6 weeks away.
Oh, okay.
Stand corrected.
Nice.
That was pointed out
It's
on
a little
X
further out.
to the both of us.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I guess 5 weeks away to the start of training camp. Because, they basically are like in training camp for not even a week. It feels like in hockey.
Right.
And you're out there playing a preseason.
It feels like they never stop.
They don't.
Players are always playing.
They don't.
I love them.
I as a beer league hockey player, it never does stop, actually. Our season just ended less than a week ago, and we have our start of our next season this Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Beer league hockey, the best, where people just.
Do you drink beer while you play hockey?
There's some that do.
Oh.
There are some that do before, during, and after. But it's mostly just a lot of guys who watch the TV show Shoresy and like to just chirp.
Okay.
Like it's all they do. It's like, all right, like.
Yeah.
We're just out here hey, you want to be competitive and have fun? Like that's what I'm here to do.
Big Slapshot fan.
Yeah. Well, there's some people that try and, act like the Hanson brothers.
Yeah.
But just some people take things way too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Much like the AP Top 25
Oh, boy.
college football. Take it way too serious here.
That happens.
So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take it way too serious here, Victoria. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Adam will be back tomorrow. It's almost going to be like normal tomorrow.
Well, the whole thing. I know. I texted him. I'm like, when's the family coming back together? Because I thought he was probably taking a PTO day.
Yeah, well, he's not here.
It's tomorrow.
So we're actually going to dive into the AP Top 25. And you know what? I'm going to go 1 through 10. I'm just going to start poking. Actually, let's go 10 to 1, Victoria.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go 10 to 1.
Build up the suspense.
And I'm going to poke holes in every single one of these teams with
like
the exception
Swiss
of
cheese.
one. Number 10 is Florida State. Now, I understand their season. They got a chip on their shoulder after being screwed out of the college football playoff last year. They should have been in that top 25. They should have been in the top 4. They should have been there 100%.
Yes.
We all know that. I've stated it. I know Adam has said it as much.
Everyone knows it.
So they got chip on their shoulder, which absolutely they should do, and they should ride that as much as possible. They lost a ton on offense. Jordan Travis, quarterback, gone. Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, wide receivers, gone. Trey Benson, running back, gone. All NFL or graduated. Guys like Jared Verse on defense, their edge rusher, top 15 pick, or right around 15. But nonetheless, he's the first edge rusher off the board. He was the first-round draft pick. All gone. Now, DJ Uiagalelei, the quarterback, back in the ACC, spent 2 years at Clemson, went to Oregon State, was there for a couple years. There's no more Pac-12. He comes back to the ACC. They play in about 11 days. I'm sure I'm going to get corrected if I'm wrong on that because I know it's August 24th.
Yeah, you will.
About 11 days. Next Saturday, the 24th, they're in Dublin. They play Georgia Tech. Now, chance to slip up in that one. Legit chance of slipping up in that one. I'm sure a lot of UNC fans remember going down to Georgia Tech last year after you lost the game against Virginia and they went down to Georgia Tech and they ran all over you. Chance to slip up, and if you do slip up, it'll be a long season for Florida State. They have to take care of business. I think it's also vital for the ACC that they take care of business. But yes, chip on the shoulder. We got a lot of new working pieces. But hey, your head coach, Mike Norvell, is back. Unlike number 9, Michigan, no more Harbaugh. He's in the NFL. J.J. McCarthy is in the NFL, as was the true focal point of their offense. Running back last year, Blake Corum. He's in the NFL. Oh, and they got caught cheating last year. And they no longer have that advantage because they got busted for it. They're a bunch of cheaters. Nah, get out of here. You're not making the CFP. Nor do you deserve it. So, yeah, Michigan, great, cool. You won a championship last year. Cheaters, you're number 9 in the AP Top 25. Good luck this year. Let's go to number 8, Penn State. Let's just call it what it is. They can't beat ranked teams. Especially highly ranked ones. Under James Franklin, their head coach, 12-26 against AP ranked teams. 3-17 against teams ranked in the top 10. 3-17. I'm sorry. Am I supposed to get excited for Penn State football? Tell me why I should get excited for Penn State football. And then guess what? They're only 4-16 under James Franklin against Ohio State and Michigan. But hey, with the expanded college football playoff, maybe they'll backdoor their way into a CFP. Because everyone tells me how great Penn State is. I'm sorry, I don't see you beating anybody. You're just not. Again, 3-17 against top 10 teams under James Franklin. Okay, you're a good team. Congrats. I'm supposed to be excited for you? Number 7, Notre Dame. They had 3 starting offensive linemen that aren't back from last year. Joe Alt, first-round pick. His replacement is hurt. It's supposed to be done for the year with a pec injury. Their starting center is now the starting center for NC State. And they got Riley Leonard coming in, former Duke quarterback, who necessarily, before he had the ankle and injuries and stuff, I know he had the ankle injury against Notre Dame and re-aggravated it, tried playing on it as the last couple games that he played in the year last year. Didn't necessarily light it up with his arm last year. I was at multiple Duke games last year. Crazy to think about it. I went to multiple Duke games last year, both in the press box and on the sideline. Clemson, Notre Dame. He mostly got it done with his legs. He only had against Duke and against when Duke played Notre Dame and Clemson. He had 1 touchdown pass in those 2 games. Now, he did have a massively big touchdown run against Clemson. But again, those 2 games, just 1 touchdown pass. Those are your 2 biggest tests. He had 1 touchdown pass against Lafayette. He had 1 against UConn, and he had 1 against Notre Dame. Now, he did have a couple rushing touchdowns against Northwestern, had a rush TD against Clemson that I mentioned, and he also had another rushing touchdown against UConn. But Notre Dame lost a lot offensively, and Sam Hartman was a really good college quarterback, but somehow they're up 7 spots from where they finished last year. Somehow they're up 7. Oh, wait, I know why, Victoria. It's because that shiny gold helmet.
Right.
Notre Dame. It's the shiny gold helmet, which all of a sudden makes you just awesome, apparently. I'm not buying it yet when it comes to Notre Dame. I'm also not buying the number 6 team, Ole Miss. Their quarterback, Jackson Dart. Great name. Jackson Dart. Great name for a college quarterback.
Yeah, Dart.
Under Lane Kiffin. Under Lane Kiffin, 6 wins versus teams that are ranked in the top 25. 6. 6-25. So tell me why Ole Miss is special. Go ahead, I'll wait. Can't wait to see them up in Winston-Salem this coming season and lose to Wake Forest. That I'm looking forward to. That I'm looking forward to see Ole Miss come up to Wake Forest and get bounced. God, I want that to happen so badly. Number 5 on this list, Alabama. Jaden Milroe, their quarterback, he's back. Now, Alabama is a factory of turning out talent. We all know that. But there were even questions last year with Jaden Milroe about if he should get benched. And they were literally like a Hail Mary away from losing to Auburn and not even making the CFP last year. Granted, they never should have been in the college football playoff anyway. Should have been Florida State. I digress. Kalen DeBoer comes from Washington to take over for a legend in Nick Saban. Now, they got a couple easy games to start the year. They got Western Kentucky and South Florida. But September 14th which is 1 month from tomorrow, by the way. I want to make sure I get my dates correct here, Victoria.
Make that clear, yes.
1 month from tomorrow, September 14th, they got to go to Wisconsin. They got to go up to Madison. It's going to be a test. Now, Wisconsin isn't great. Wisconsin is good. They're not great. But if you don't win that one up in Madison, they might not let you off the plane in Tuscaloosa. There might be pitchforks and torches in Tuscaloosa. So, yeah, Kalen DeBoer, you built something great at Washington. But now you're going to Alabama. The standard's just different. I know you got to the college football playoff with Washington last year. It's just different at Alabama. The standard is just different there, especially when you're replacing the guy. We've seen it here in North Carolina with guys like John Shire having to replace Coach K or Hubert Davis having to replace Roy Williams. It's hard to replace the guy. It took multiple coaches to get from Dean Smith to Roy Williams at UNC. So, yeah, it's just different there in Alabama. So, yeah, I think Alabama struggles a little bit this year, and they're going to have a lot of noise around that program, and not in a good way. Number 14, Texas. We made it to the college football playoff last year. Quinn Ewers is back. Their quarterback, who a lot of people thought if he came out in the draft could have been a first-round pick, but went back to college for another year. Likely is going to be one of the top QBs drafted this upcoming year. They do miss some skill guys. Xavier Worthy, who's playing for the Kansas City Chiefs now, first-round pick, who's all speed. You got Jonathan Brooks, who's now running back for the Carolina Panthers, which we'll hopefully see week 3 or 4, fingers crossed. But they're headed to the SEC. And granted, they did beat the team that's below them in Texas, or Texas beating Alabama, team below them. They also go on the road to the Big House this year. They go to Michigan, which I think is just kind of awesome for college football to see a big-name program like Texas in the Big House on the road and a big-name program like Michigan. Now, Michigan, for all the things I mentioned earlier, I got questions, major ones. But Texas, I think a little bit more justified there at number 4. SEC is going to be a lot tougher competition than the Big 12 because Big 12 stinks. Number 3 is Oregon. Now, big question is, do they have a 6th-year, 29-year-old quarterback? Now, okay, Bo Nix was not 29 years old, but you know what I mean. He was a 6-year quarterback last year, played a ton of college football. No, they don't have that this year. Now, their schedule actually isn't that daunting, even though they're going from the Pac-12 to the Big 10. And we'll also look at last year, they were literally just a couple of plays away. They had a couple of one-possession losses to Washington. Those were only 2 losses last year. The team got to the national championship game. But nonetheless, their schedule isn't that daunting. They have a home game against Ohio State on October 12th, and they're at Michigan on November 2nd. Those are their only ranked opponents on their schedule. Now they got to go to Wisconsin. I mentioned Wisconsin being a tough game for Alabama just a little bit ago. Now Oregon's got to go to Wisconsin on November 16th. Won't be easy, but again, it's not daunting. So yeah, I see Oregon in the college football playoff. Simple as that. Because they have a team, like I just mentioned, who's number 2, Ohio State. Their starting quarterback last year, Kyle McCord, he's at Syracuse. Their best player is no longer there, in Marvin Harrison Jr. And for some reason, people want to question Ryan Day as a head coach, even though they've been, awesome. They've been great. Now, has the CFP success necessarily been there? Not necessarily, but they're getting there. And I remember, they lost in one possession game on the road at Michigan. One possession game on the road at Michigan with all their cheating. Michigan's got a massive turnover of their roster. Ohio State was knocking on the door last year. My big question is, again, you lost your best player, Marvin Harrison Jr., and you got to figure out who your quarterback's going to be, which I think they probably have an idea, but nonetheless, you still got to replace 2 of your key players. But Ohio State, Ohio State just turns the roster over. They got talent backing up talent there. And then number 1, it's hard to poke holes at Georgia. It really is. Carson Beck, their quarterback, is back. Kirby Smart hasn't lost a regular season game to a coach not named Nick Saban since 2019, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Nick Saban's now in the media.
Exactly. He's doing what we do.
Forgetting his badges and everything.
Right.
Just trying to walk up in there.
Just trying to walk up in there. But nonetheless, Georgia. Yeah, they're my pick to win the CFP this year. Let's call it what it is. That's the look at the top 10. We're just poked holes in all of them. Because guess what? No one knows anything.
Nope.
Till we actually start playing some games, which is soon.
Right around the corner.
11 days away.
Woo!
Verified it on the calendar. August 24th, week 0. We got games. We've got games. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. There is one player on the Carolina Panthers that I really hope makes the team. Tight end Jordan Matthews. Now, Jordan Matthews started his career as a wide receiver. Philadelphia Eagles draft pick was like a number 1, number 2. He was starting wide out for them. He's got seasons where he caught like 85 passes. Dealt with some injury stuff. Actually found his way into the San Francisco 49ers, playing under Kyle Shanahan. And all the stuff that he was asked to do, he explained this yesterday when he was talking to the media, the stuff that he was asked to do, say, like, you know what? Kind of, you're asking me to do a lot of stuff a tight end is doing. So he actually pitched the idea to the 49ers, like, hey, what about converting me to tight end? And Kyle Shanahan said, yeah, if you bulk up to like 235 pounds, we'll make you a tight end. So that's what he did. He put like 25 pounds on in a very short period of time. He talked about how, like basically every 3 hours he was eating like a full meal just to put the weight on. But he made that switch and still kind of kept his speed and his athleticism. And now he's running against nickel corners and linebackers and safeties. And he still has that wide receiver skill set and that wide receiver knowledge. But now he takes his skills to the Carolina Panthers. I know he was a little bit on the practice squad last year, but now it seems like he actually has a legit shot of making this team. Now, playing under head coach Dave Canales, as some of Jordan Matthews talked about yesterday, there's some similarities to Kyle Shanahan, including basically how Dave Canales is a straight shooter.
He's told us from the very beginning, guys, this team's going to go as far as you guys want to take it. And he's completely right. You know, I love the fact that Dave is always telling the truth. You know, I've heard a couple of his interviews with you guys. He doesn't sugarcoat stuff. He tells the truth. He's the same way with us in the building. So, you know, you like being around a guy who's whole, who's the same around you and when he's not around you. And I think a lot of the guys respect that, and it makes you want to win for a guy like that. So, you know, I mean, I played for some really, really good coaches. I mean, I literally was just at the Niners with Shanahan, and, you know, he was very similar. He just says it how it is. I think all players respect coaches who are willing to just go ahead and say the truth, so that way we know how to go forward.
As someone who's a former coach, former college coach, that stuff resonates. And I played lacrosse through college as well. And when I have a coach who was just honest and just told it to me straight, I knew where I stood. I knew exactly what I needed to work on. For some reason, I think we overcomplicate it. We have to speak in code or whatever it is. I don't know. But if you tell me, like, hey, you need to do this better, this is how you fix it, this is what I need you to do, okay, got it. Let me go do it. It's that simple. Like, it really is. Now, there are different ways of, like, approaching it. Like, you don't have to be a jerk about it necessarily all the time. But sometimes it's like, hey, look, this is where you're struggling. This is what we need you to do. This is how you got to fix it. Now let's go fix it. Let's go get together. Let's fix this thing. All right, let's go fix this thing. I love hearing that from a veteran like Jordan Matthews. But here's something that I actually want to hear Jordan Matthews talk about, his mindset before practice. And I think this is where it can actually be a great example for guys in the locker room.
You know, I tell people all the time, because like some of the guys see me leaving, I'm like, ain't nothing left for me in this locker room. Everything that God got for me on this grass. You know, and I have meaningful conversations with a lot of the guys. I mean, shoot, probably more than anybody. I love connecting with all of my teammates, getting to know them, getting to know their families. But we can do that after practice. It's time to go, and I got kids to pay for private school for, you know. So playing boo-ray and all that, playing ping pong, that don't do nothing for me. I need to get out here, get my body going, get my mind right, because, you know, I love this game, and you got to respect it. And the second you don't, you'll be done with it. So
I love that.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, by the way, Boot Ray is a card game, by the way. But he was asked, the question was, hey, you're getting out here early, like 30 minutes before practice, getting individual work in and those kinds of things. And he explained why. He's like, yeah, being in the locker room isn't going to help me. Being on this field does. And I think that's an example that's set for a team that is trying to establish a new culture and for showing young players, whether it's Bryce or Jonathan Mingo, Jonathan Brooks, whomever, how to be a pro and how to handle yourself the right way, taking care of your body, doing all the things mentally to get yourself ready to play. That kind of guy in your locker room is vital.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to teach you life lessons right here. And again, he's been a wide receiver and was a successful one early in his career. He's made the change in position. So he's like, hey, look, I know what it's like to try and transition, do new schemes, ask to do different things. Hey, I've done that. And I've been in this league for about 10 years. I understand how this all works.
I like how he shows you got to put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just mess around. It's not all fun and games, even though you're playing a sport. Like, you've got a motive. You've got a goal. And I like the fact that his head's on straight because, how many times do you hear about football players who don't? They get in trouble because they do extracurricular things. And it's like, he's like, no, I got a purpose. I got a plan.
That's a lot of athletes.
He's mature. I really like his maturity.
And honestly, he has a real good chance of making the roster because we know that Ian Thomas is going to be there, Tommy Tremble, Jatavian Sanders, Sanders being the fourth round pick of this season for the Panthers. Stefan Sullivan, who was a tight end last year that was on the team, he injured his quad. He was actually put on injured reserve and actually was waived as injured. Now he could potentially get re-signed back to the team, but until then, it would not shock me if the Panthers keep 4 tight ends on the roster. It would not surprise me one bit. He talks about, hey, he plays special teams. He goes, yeah, it's part of football. It's like, I don't specialize in anything. You want me to go cover kicks? Fine, I'll go cover kicks. You want me to help in the return game in some way by blocking? All right, I'm down. Let's go. So he's able and willing to do so many different things.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, jack of all trades. The more you can do, the more valuable you are. But like you said, Victoria, just his professionalism and what he carries. And those guys are vital in the locker room. We always like to use the term glue guy.
Mm-hmm.
Glue guy helps things stick. Those are the kinds of guys that you need. But if he actually is on the field, who's he going to catch passes from? Well, it's Bryce Young. Jordan Matthews also gave his evaluation of what he's seen from the young quarterback.
I think this staff has done a great job of just instilling that much more confidence in him. Bryce has always been talented. He's always been able to make the throws. He's a great leader. Dave actually in one of his first meetings talked about, he used the word covering. I've never heard a coach use that word before, but he talked about how even the staff he assembled, from Scott to Brad, he's got a lot on his plate. And so he got people that he felt like could cover him. And what that means is, like, those people instill confidence in you, but they also keep all the other stuff out. So I've seen enough good stuff from Bryce to let me know that what he needs is we got to cover him, okay? Like, from the receivers to the O-line to the running backs, that's protection, pass game. In the media, what we say, we've got to cover that young man because he's got a lot on his shoulders, but godly, he's a winner. I mean, you don't just wake up one day and win a Heisman. I tell you all the time, you see somebody at the top of a mountain, they ain't get dropped off there, all right? They climbed it. So he's really good.
So, yeah, you don't get dropped off on the top of the mountain.
I love that. He's been around Dave a lot, I think.
Clearly. But again, I think he's also just because he's been around the league for so long, and clearly the head on his shoulders is it's looking down at the big picture. And I love what he talked about. Dave Canales says, hey, we got to cover each other. Basically saying, hey, we got to have each other's back. Like, hey, if I'm doing this thing, I got to have someone that covers me. Hey, if someone else is going to do this other thing, we need to go cover them. Like, that's how you build a culture where everyone is working together and in unison to make sure the other one is being taken care of when they got to go do their thing, as opposed to just a bunch of individual parts. Like, talk about that cohesion. So we mentioned earlier, I always said the direction that the Panthers are going in terms of the culture, that's a massive part of it. And to help establish the culture, I think you need a guy like Jordan Matthews in your locker room because he clearly gets it. Clearly gets it. He's like, hey, I'm here to work. I'm here to do the right things. That's the kind of guy you need to have in your locker room. I'm not saying there are guys that are in there that don't, that or aren't. But a guy that's been around the block that could do it, you want to make sure that you have it. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria producing the show. Coming up, we got to place bets, which I'm obligated to, I think, make a soccer bet in some way, shape, or form, Victoria. Because this is the Adam Gold Show, but also it's time to stretch it out. Coming up on the Adam Gold Show.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Football's fast approaching. Time to get in on all the action early this year. And Adam Gold here for FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. You may have a favorite NFL future bet, like passing yards for your favorite quarterback, or maybe will your team make the playoffs? And you can parlay everything together for even bigger payouts. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. No better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Just go to FanDuel.com/AGS. Sign up today. FanDuel.com/AGS. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is predicted to be among the most active we've ever experienced. Prepare your home now against power outages of all types with a Generac home standby generator from Alternative Power. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, helping protect you and your family. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The North Carolina Zoo is celebrating 50 wild years in 2024. Voted top zoo in the nation, the North Carolina Zoo is centrally located in Asheboro. Bring your family for a day trip or a weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, a herd of elephants, a crash of rhinos, and a flock of seabirds. Plus, ride an endangered species carousel and stroll through the exotic butterfly garden. Plan your next outdoor adventure at nczoo.org.
Did you and your family lose North Carolina Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria, I believe you went and saw, was it Metallica?
I did, and this band, Pantera.
Oh, you saw Pantera too?
Yes, that's why I'm playing. All my bump music is Metallica, Pantera.
Okay.
And there was another band named Mammoth that was there, but I'm not using lyrics because,
Okay, well,
FCC's not going to like that.
FCC won't let us be. Okay, yeah, because I did see that you were out there, and I was recognizing some of the stuff, and I was like,
oh my goodness.
This sounds like Pantera.
Oh my goodness.
This sounds
so
like
good.
Metallica. I was like, all right. I bet that was a heck of a time.
Oh, so fun. So great. It was the Windy City, and they didn't lie. That's why I had to, the one picture I took, I think my hair was up because it was everywhere. But it was fantastic. I mean, they were so good.
Well, you're on the shores of Lake Michigan up there. And one of the schools I coached at, Carthage College, which is just south of Milwaukee in Wisconsin, is right there on Lake Michigan. Literally like the eastern border of campus is the shore of Lake Michigan, which was gorgeous. But yeah, the wind whips.
It's no joke.
It is no joke at all.
And I was at the top. It was at Soldier Field, and I was like towards the top. So I'm like, I'm up there with the birds.
Windy as it is anyway.
Like,
but you know what?
around.
This is where, obviously you make that trek down.
I know.
At the top, from the top of the stadium, got to stretch out a little bit. Don't want to pull a hammy.
Yeah. Oh, lots of stretching because I walked everywhere as well too. So
hey, got all those steps in.
I know.
I respect it.
We walked all over the place. Now, coming back, I know the Olympics is over officially, but I did read this stat that 16 years ago on this day, Michael Phelps became the winningest Olympic athlete of all time.
Oh, yeah?
He took home his 10th and 11th gold medals in Beijing. So
on top,
today,
exactly.
And
he just kept winning more.
I know. He was just like, I'm not done yet. So let's keep it going. Keep it going. So yeah, that happened on this day. I always like, to think back. 16 years ago? Are you kidding me? Gross. But next up, not gross. Are you a lefty or a righty?
I'm a lefty shot in hockey. I eat left-handed, but I'm right-handed.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit ambidextrous.
Okay. Well, it is left-hander day.
Let's
apparently.
go.
I know. My mom is a lefty, so I appreciate this. I know people are like, it's National Whatever Day, but left-handers, I feel so bad for them because this list talks about all the things that are not made for them. And I don't realize because I'm a right-handed. Yes, scissors is on here, zippers on pants, credit card machines, measuring cups, key fobs, microwaves.
Wait, measuring cups?
Yeah. I mean, which I don't.
How are measuring cups not perfect?
I know. I don't understand that one, but that's on there.
Handle.
Power tools. I could see that one.
Yeah, because like pushing in for like reverse or those kinds of things.
You're a coffee drinker, novelty coffee cups, no go for you.
Wait,
playing cards? Is it? I
How
don't
are
know.
playing
I don't know. This and then knives, like certain knives are also, which makes sense. But
apparently we're the serrated. Yeah.
Yes. Well, this is your day. If you're a lefty, this is your day.
It's your day.
I know.
I brush my teeth left-handed.
Okay. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird.
Change it up. I mean, hey, to each their own. So change it up. Now, last but not least, is a quick one. Did you ever go to Chuck E. Cheese?
I've been to Chuck E. Cheese, yes.
Okay. So now, Chuck E.
The
Cheese.
animatronics and everything.
Terrifying. Which I loved as a kid, but whoa. Terrifying. I haven't been to Chuck E. Cheese in a long time, but now they are making a subscription plan.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what are we subscribing to?
Exactly.
What are we?
If you are a frequent visitor to the Chuck E. Cheese, then they now have a program where you can go, and it's a yearly one. So they have 3 tiers: a gold, silver, and bronze. They must really love the Olympics as well. The cheapest is about $8 a month. And it goes all the way up to $29 a month, so about $30. So they like to say that they're cheaper than Netflix, a subscription, but you're stuck for a year. You got to go a whole year.
What do I get?
So what they say, the cheapest one offers 40 games per visit, 20% off most food, drinks, and bonus games. And then each tier you kind of get more. So you get more games, more % off food, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you're a frequent person who likes to go there. Oh, and you could also bring up to 6 family members. And you can go every day. So if you really, really love Chuck E. Cheese.
So is that 40 games per visit or for the month?
Yes, per visit.
Well, in that case,
Yeah, it's per visit. And you could go every day.
Yeah, I know. If that's the case, I'm getting my money's worth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're subscribing to the Chuck E. Cheese, you might as well see that mouse all the time. I don't know.
Now,
it's a lot.
I have a question.
It's a lot of pizza.
That's a lot of Chuck E. Cheese.
It is. But hey.
That's a little too much Chuck E. Cheese.
Maybe if you just have kids who really love it and you got multiple ones, I don't know. Might be a good thing to just go there. But yeah, that's going to be a thing now.
Everyone's birthday parties at the Chuck E. Cheese this year.
Everyone. No, Mom, I want to go to the roller rink. No. It's Chuck E. Cheese. At least this year. All the time. Everyone's birthday. Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. Or instead of trying to win those games, you could maybe place some good bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets.
By the way, I did adult Chuck E. Cheese for my birthday back in June.
Did you?
So here in Raleigh, I went to local pizza place. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then went to a barcade, Boxcar, downtown Raleigh.
I love
After that,
Boxcar.
just went with like a bunch of friends and everything. So yeah, that was my birthday.
I've had so many birthdays at Boxcar. Oh gosh.
It's
so great.
It's so great.
I love that.
I was like, yep. One drink, and I'm like a lot of Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man,
oh,
pinball action.
Find me in the pinball area. I will
Mario
pinball
Kart.
it up. Yeah.
So much
pinball.
fun.
Oh, yeah.
So fun. All right, Victoria.
All
since
right.
you're back, make
I
the
know.
first bet.
Woo! Well, since I'm back, I got to start with my Cubbies since I saw them.
Of course.
Oh, yes. It was beautiful. Well, the Cubs are going to be in Cleveland taking on the Guardians. This one might be a little tough, but I'm going with my Cubs. We got Assad pitching today, so give me the Cubs. They're underdogs plus 130.
Okay, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and make a bet for Friday because that's when we have the Premier League starting. And it's the Adam Gold Show. I am obligated contractually to make a bet on soccer.
Yes.
Give me Everton over Brighton plus 160.
Okay.
Give me that.
I like it. Next up, Washington Nationals are in Baltimore taking on the Orioles. And Baltimore is actually favored in this one. Little surprise, not going to lie. So give me the dogs. Give me Washington Nationals to win plus 145.
I'm making this bet for Adam Gold.
Uh-oh.
The FedEx St. Jude Championship Golf PGA Tour. Give me Rory McIlroy to win at plus 900.
Oh, boy. Poor Rory.
So he's probably not going to make the cut.
He's not.
Probably not going to make the cut, but plus 900 for Rory.
All right. Well, and last but not least, Miami Marlins are going to be in Philadelphia taking on the Phillies. They have no idea who their pitcher is going to be yet, but doesn't matter. Give me the Phillies to win, and I'm taking the over 9 because they are favored. That's plus 155.
All right, this is for all the degenerates out there. Preseason football, Saturday, Bank of America Stadium. Panthers a plus 150, baby.
Wow.
Panthers a plus 150.
At home, still dogs.
Because, first win of the Canales era. Got to start somewhere. Got to start somewhere.
Let's see that offensive line, too, please.
Let's just
give them some reps.
Let's just see the starters play, please.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
A little bit of time.
Maybe we'll see the starters on defense. By the way, this is the Adam Gold Show. That was 7th inning stretch and placing our bets. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. He'll be back tomorrow. Victoria is back.
Yes.
Victoria's back from her hiatus in Chicago. Victoria's
Home
back.
state. Yes. I'm back.
So speaking of Saturday, we get into the Wall of Sound. We'll hear from Carolina Panthers defensive back, Jordan Fuller. How's this defense actually shaping up? I would actually love to see the first team defense actually get some reps out there on Saturday as well and some live game action. But how is the defense shaping up? It's been the backbone of the team last year. Looks like it might be again this year. We'll hear from Jordan Fuller, Carolina Panthers defensive back, coming up.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Bobby Joe absolutely hated her job.
Can't hate that job any more than I do.
So, time for one of those fancy tech schools?
No, I could never afford that. I'm going to Sharky's.
Sharky's?
Yeah, no better place to relax. Great food, cold beer, good whiskey, darts, billiards.
So now you love your job?
No, I still hate my job, but I loves me some Sharky's. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, everybody loves Sharky's. Sharky's Place, one of the best neighborhood bars in the world. 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Whether it's the future of college football or my love for the Ryder Cup, it's all found in the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com. Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, and I want to talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. I'm sure you are tired of wasting time and money every day putting contacts in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses. I could go on, but let me just tell you about Dr. Lori Travers, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle. She has the answers to your questions, and it takes less than 5 minutes per eye. Dr. Lori will put you on the path to 20/20 vision. It's totally painless. Could go back to work the very next day. 2 years, 0-interest financing is available. The hard part is that you have to call 919-510-6830, or I guess you could go online, traverslasik.com. Free consultation there. Get your vision 20/20. Hindsight is 20/20. If you don't call. 919-510-6830. 919-510-6830. Travers LASIK.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I think it's the best thing to happen to Jason Tatum. And if I'm a Boston Celtics fan, I absolutely love it because there's going to be this chip on the shoulder for Jason Tatum that'll be like, the hell with that. I'm better than playing 2 of 6 games. I'm better than playing just 11 minutes on a gold medal game. And if you think Tatum was going to be locked in for this upcoming season for the Celtics, buddy, he's got a whole offseason, an Olympic frustration to take out, and hell hath no fury like a talented man scoring, and that's what Jason Tatum's going to be for the Boston Celtics next year.
I know a lot of people are making a big deal of Jason Tatum not really playing a whole lot in the Olympics. Which, like, okay, fine. I've heard some people even describe it as like, oh, they embarrassed him. Like Steve Kerr, the head coach of USA Basketball, was like, hey, let's. Hey, you know what else we should do other than win gold? Let's make Jason Tatum look bad. Like it was their intent. I don't get it. This doesn't make sense to me. Kerr's out there trying to coach to win a game.
Yeah.
Won a gold. Guess what they did? They won a gold.
They did.
Now, could Tatum have played more and they still got the similar result? Sure, possibly. But he was playing behind LeBron and Kevin Durant, who LeBron wasn't coming off the floor, and KD was playing lights out. It's hard to take away minutes from those guys, especially in just 40-minute games. Now, if these were 48-minute games like we have in the NBA, well, heck yeah, he'd get a lot more minutes. But they weren't. So, yeah, I don't know. People are making such a bigger deal of it. Tyrese Halliburton didn't play a whole lot. Okay. Again, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem. But hey, you know what? Good on Tatum, though. He's got his second gold medal, just won an NBA championship, and he's the highest paid player ever in NBA history. Not a whole lot to complain about. At least for me. Outside looking in. That's fine. Dennis Cox in again for Adam Gold. Victoria producing the show. As always, she's back. Victoria's back.
Yes, I'm back in NC. It was so much fun. Chicago was fun. Ate everywhere. I ate my way around Chicago, literally.
Good. Did you go to the restaurant from the Bear? You knew exactly where I was going with that.
I did not go to
beef?
that one,
Oh.
but I did finally get Italian beef, like from Chicago.
Nice.
That's one of the things that for some reason I had not gotten until this trip. And I did twice.
Look at you. Now you did it. You finally did it.
delicious.
Good for you.
Yes.
You're back in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
The Carolina Panthers are going to be back at Bank of America Stadium for their only home preseason game. Let's talk about that as we get into the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
Now, the Carolina Panthers defense, we all know last year was the backbone, I guess, was the strength of the team last year. I know people will look in terms of like total yards allowed and say, oh, it's fourth best defense last year. That's a little bit of a misleading number. You look at some of the more advanced numbers or situational numbers, actually weren't that great. They were good, but they really weren't that great. Red zone touchdown percentage defensively was one of the worst in the entire NFL. So when teams got into the red zone, they were scoring touchdowns. Also, sack percentage last year. So number of dropbacks by opposing quarterbacks, the amount of sacks that they got, that percentage was 31st or 32nd in the NFL. I think it was 31st in the NFL. One of the bottom three in the NFL in terms of sack percentage defensively. They also forced very few turnovers. I remember they forced 2 fumbles defensively last year. It was the third play of the game and the third play of the game in the season opener at Atlanta against the Falcons. Brian Burns had a strip sack, which Atlanta recovered, and that was the only strip sack they had the entire season. And they forced a fumble against the Houston Texans in that game. I think it was Dante Jackson that forced it. That's it. There was like a muffed punt fumble that they also recovered, but it's not really a forced fumble. A guy just dropped the punt. That's it. They really weren't a whole lot of big plays. I know like Troy Hill had the pick 6 against Miami, but they were already down 42-14 at that point, and it was the backup quarterback, Matt White, that threw the pick 6 to Troy Hill. So really inconsequential. The best play defensively probably last season was the Sam Franklin pick 6 against the Minnesota Vikings. They went 99 yards. I think it was in the first quarter of that game. Like, there really weren't a whole lot of big plays. Defense, again, was solid. It was good. Wasn't really great. But they've made some additions. They've made some different personnel moves. Like signing Jordan Fuller, safety. Played the last 4 years with the LA Rams. They also signed some other guys. Like, for example, A'Shaun Robinson played with the Rams. Josie Jewell, who played with the Denver Broncos. Guess what all these guys have done? They've all have played with Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator, at those stops. So Jordan Fuller says, hey, yeah, a lot of guys have familiarity with the defensive scheme.
We've learned the defense similarly, and we've been in like similar defenses and stuff like that. So the carryover is pretty easy, and it's kind of seamless how we gel together, which is pretty cool. Obviously, we have a long way to go. Whole bunch of practices to that first game, and then throughout the whole season get better too. But yeah, I like how it's coming together right now.
This time of year in football, defense is always ahead of the offense because offense is so reliant on timing and checks at the line, with audibles and all different kinds of stuff. Like, all that stuff takes time and repetitions. Defense, it's a little bit easier. When I got to college, I played linebacker, and it was so much easier. It's like, all right, here's our base defense. This is where you line up. This is your gap in charge of for run plays. If it comes towards you, this is your gap. If it runs away from you, this is what you're supposed to do. And if it's a pass, this is where you got to cover. That's it. It's literally, you boil it down to that simple. It's like, all right, alignment, assignment, and attack the football. That's it. So defense is always a little bit ahead of offense this time of year. But it's nice, Victoria, when you're bringing in guys that have that experience with the defense, especially at so many different levels across the field. Obviously, the guys that came back, like Shaq Thompson, like Echo Leota, some of these other guys, like J.C. Horn, DiCaprio Boodle, there's so many guys that already know the defense from last year, and you add Jordan Fuller, you add Josie Jewell. These guys are set to start for you. Ashawn Robinson, those are starters at all three levels of your defense that are brought in that already have an understanding of your defense, which I think is big. I think it's important for the defense that is looking to try to create more big plays this season. Now, speaking of Ashawn Robinson, the new guy, along with Jordan Fuller, one of the new guys, Jordan Fuller talked about how he and Ashawn Robinson continue to bring the energy.
Me and Ashawn Robinson will be on each other just about bringing energy every single day and, just being our best selves. He's always challenging me to make plays on the ball. I'm always challenging him it's everybody on the defense kind of motivating each other, which I like a lot.
I like that. Ashawn Robinson challenged Jordan Fuller. Hey, come down with that pick. Jordan Fuller, hey, how about you get to the quarterback? I don't have to worry about it if you take him down. All right, bet. Let's go. So that level of competition, the energy that's infused to the team, these new guys coming in, again, that have an understanding of the defense already, bring that energy in, challenging each other on the field in a good way only elevates things. We actually saw it yesterday. Panthers practice, a little bit of a shorter one. Defense dominated. Multiple interceptions, knocking passes down, making big plays all across the field. They're hooting and hollering, singing Candy Rain, while the offense kind of gets brought in for the hey guys, listen. One of those conversations. I know I mentioned it earlier, Victoria, a couple hours ago, but when a group of people get brought together and the first words out of the leader's mouth says, hey guys, listen. It's not a good conversation. Not a good conversation. So yeah, by the way, the defense yesterday, again, they were hooting and hollering. Offense after practice yesterday, the whole offense running gassers. Basically, you're sprinting sideline to sideline, down from one sideline to the other and back. You got to do that a couple times. That's considered one. So yeah, they're running gassers after practice. That's no bueno. Apparently on Sunday, offense looked good. So again, that's the back and forth of it, though. I am excited for Thursday because it's going to be great for these guys to get those types of practice reps against guys they're not familiar with. The one downside of constantly practicing against yourself is that the other guy's tendencies. The other guys, what the other guy's trying to do in terms of their defensive scheme because you've been around it all summer and all during camp. I know, I used to hate this in lacrosse. If I'm guarding the same teammate in practice, I know what he's intending to do just based off one subtle thing because I've seen it 70 times already. So yeah, doesn't do you really much good in that regard. So again, joint practice Thursday against the Jets. I want to see the starters play on Saturday in the preseason game. I want to see the starters play in the preseason game on Saturday. We'll dive more into the Panthers coming up here in just a little bit, including one player in danger of getting cut by the Carolina Panthers. I'll tell you who that player is in 4 minutes.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's time for our 2 o'clock keyword in our Fan Football Flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. This hour's word is gold. Text GOLD to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas and see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's word is gold. Good luck from 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader. Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The football season is upon us. Get in on the action now. What are your favorite NFL futures bets, team props, win totals, passing yard totals? Who's going to win the MVP? You can do all of that. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. There's no better place to get ready for the season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Go to FanDuel.com/Adam Gold and sign up today. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Have fun this season. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.com.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
To make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get her? Juicy double patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow. Yeah, McDonald's don't miss. Yeah, order on the app or the drive-through quick. Yeah, $5, that's a deal. Yeah, I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
So if you subscribe to The Athletic, I know a lot of other publications and outlets that are doing this, and I know I've thought about it myself, are going through, by the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today, are going through rosters and trying to basically cut down a team's roster to 53 players. And there's a player that's been on my mind that is a high candidate to being cut, being released from the team. It's Terrace Marshall Jr., the wide receiver. In his 4th year, 2nd-round pick from a few years ago, 2021, just hasn't worked out. Just hasn't. I mean, he was one of the highest recruited wide receivers coming out of high school. Like, he was more highly recruited than I think guys like Justin Jefferson and like Jamar Chase. Like, he was more highly recruited and rated than them. I mean, granted, those rankings and ratings are, take those with, grains of salt and, black pepper. But Terrace Marshall Jr., we saw him last season in a team that was 2-15. I'm actually surprised that he wasn't released this offseason. I really am shocked. But hey, you know what? Giving him another chance. He was drafted with Matt Rule. That didn't work out. Obviously, with Matt Rule, Frank Reich comes in. Nothing worked with that. Okay. Maybe with Dave Canales, maybe things will actually finally pan out for this 2nd-round pick, which, by the way, I've been to multiple training camp practices this season. The dude looks the part. And, he's looked strong in some of the practices I've been to. He's making plays. I'm not the only person that's reported that as said that. Then you get to the preseason game against New England Patriots. I understand it's a little wet, a little rainy a little bit. You get open, and Jack Plummer, the undrafted rookie, puts it on your hands. Catchable ball, and you drop it. It's dude, you were a healthy scratch. You were inactive for 6 of the last 7 games last season for a team that went 2-15. You couldn't crack the lineup for a 2-15 team last year. And then the one game you played, I remember you lined up incorrectly, causing an illegal formation, which took back a touchdown from Raheem Blackshear. So when you actually did get in there, you cost your team points. And now you got another chance. And the one chance you actually get into a game, the ball hits you and gets you in the hands, and you dropped it. Here's something Terrace Marshall doesn't do. He doesn't bring versatility. He doesn't return kicks. He doesn't help in the return game by blocking. Doesn't cover kicks. The guy doesn't play special teams. And guess what? If you're the 6th wide receiver or 5th wide receiver on my roster, I need my 5th wide receiver to play special teams if I'm a coach. You can't just be a specialist where you're like, yeah, I'm out here to run go routes, and that's it. That's a luxury this team cannot afford, especially with the way the kickoff rules have changed. You need guys that can return kicks. It's not a kickoff returner where you just line up, your 3rd running back or somebody back there and just be kind of like, all right, this ball's likely going out of the end zone. Kickoffs were returned at 22% clip last season. That's 1 out of every 5, essentially. Every 4 to 5, you're actually getting a return. That position was of very little value. But now with the new kickoff rules, the positional value goes way up. And you don't help in that regard. I need someone that can. I also need someone that can help me return punts. I'm sorry, that's where Amir Smith-Marset comes in. Now, Amir Smith-Marset also had a drop in that preseason game as well. But at least Amir Smith-Marset gives me other options. He can do other things. Smith-Marset actually did catch a couple of passes. He brings speed. He can return punts. We saw him have that punt return last year in that Thursday night game against the Chicago Bears up in Chicago where Victoria just was, Soldier Field.
I know.
You had to go back and relive it. That's the reason why you were there. Just go ahead and admit it, Victoria. That's fine.
Yeah. Had nothing to do with the Cubs games or the concert.
Nothing.
Nothing to do
at
with
all.
that.
But nonetheless, he doesn't bring any versatility. If he's not going to be one of my top 4 receivers, I'm sorry, you're not bringing any value to the team. Terrace Marshall, I'm telling you right now, 95% chance that dude's cut, which stinks because the guy has so much potential. But I'm sorry, Terrace Marshall Jr. ain't going to make it. Guy like David Moore, who was in Tampa last year and was even in Seattle when Dave Canales was a positional coach there, when he coached wide receivers and quarterbacks. David Moore more likely to make the team than him because David Moore can return kicks and Canales trusts him. There's nothing that Terrace Marshall Jr. has done to earn any bit of trust from the coaching staff right now. Because we know Adam Thielen's going to be there. We know Deontay Johnson's going to be there. Xavier Legette's going to be there. Those three are a lock. Jonathan Mingo in his second year, you have more second-year contract or second-year player on a rookie contract as a second-round pick. He's inexpensive, not just this year, but for the next 3. Terrace Marshall Jr., you're only locked in with him for 1 more year. You don't owe him anything. You don't. So, yeah, Terrace Marshall Jr., it stinks to say this, but he's going to be gone. It sucks that it never worked out for him. Because he had all the potential in the world. I'm telling you.
Hopes for him.
We all did. We
Just
all
didn't
did.
work out.
But you know
So
what?
disappointing.
He hasn't done anything. And disappointing is the right word. But yeah, Amir Smith-Marset, he makes the team. Jonathan Mingo is going to make the team. Because guess what? You look at the depth chart for the Carolina Panthers right now that they've put out, their unofficial depth chart. Guess who the starting 3 wide receivers are? It's Thielen, it's Johnson, and it's Mingo.
Yeah, Thielen, who never should have been
Yeah.
the only and main guy.
But those they're listed as their 3 starting wide receivers right now. Amir Smith-Marset listed right behind him, along with Xavier Legette, and then it's Terrace Marshall Jr. But Terrace Marshall Jr., he's got to show something over these last couple preseason games. He really does. Otherwise, he's gone. He's gone. And here's something to keep in mind when it comes to completing the roster for the Carolina Panthers. Their final 53, not all 53 are going to be guys that are currently there right now. The Carolina Panthers have first waiver claim on any player that has to go through waivers in the NFL when training camp rosters get cut. Panthers get first claim on any of them. And they have first claim through the first 3 weeks of the season. So if there's a wide receiver or a edge rusher or a defensive back or offensive lineman, goodness, they're going to be getting offensive linemen. I'm darn sure of that, especially with the injuries that they have. If they like them more than what they currently have on their roster, claim that guy.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if there are 4 or 5 guys that are claimed when rosters get cut down at the end of preseason. When rosters get cut down, it would not surprise me if there are 4, 5, even 6 guys, depending on if there are injuries and whatever might happen over the next few weeks, that get claimed by other teams that are going to be part of the 53-man roster. Like this roster right now, the final 53 or the 53 to start the year, they're not all currently in Panther uniforms. They're not. They get that first waiver claim, you're darn right they're going to use it. And I hope that guys on the roster understand that. That, hey, you're not just competing with the other guys in Panther uniform for a roster on spot on this team. You're competing with everyone in your position across the league. That's where the Panthers sit right now. I guess it's the one shiny side of going 2-15.
Well, there you go. There's
They
some
have
silver
that.
lining.
Silver linings
Somewhere.
through all that. But Terrace Marshall Jr., I was actually shocked that he wasn't released at the end of last season, like when the offseason hit, when guys like Hayden Hurst were cut, when Von Bell, when Bradley Bozeman. I was shocked that Terrace Marshall Jr. wasn't released. And there was a point last year where he requested a trade. No one traded for him. And he's still here. Like, no one was even willing to go, yeah, we'll go like a 7th-round flyer on this guy. He looks the part, built like it. No one even did that. He's still in a Panther uniform for now. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria is back.
Yes,
Victoria's
I'm here
back.
from the Windy City. I flew right in. Didn't really. I drove in.
No, oh gosh, I'm not going to lie.
13-hour drive.
That's not an easy drive. So when I was coaching full time, I was at Methodist University in Fayetteville. Shout out to all people out there in the 2-6. I took a job at Carthage College, just south of Milwaukee. So basically halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee, just across the Wisconsin border. So when I moved, I drove in one day from Fayetteville all the way up to just north of Chicago, just across the Wisconsin border.
Yeah.
And actually, I drove through Chicago, like, on my way up. It was like, a Tuesday or whatever it was, nighttime. It's such a cool skyline.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Just took the highway and everything right through there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it took me about 14 and a half hours.
Yeah. It's a long time.
You know what? One of the fun things, we don't see these around here in this state, really. At least I haven't seen them in North Carolina. But you saw them a ton through Indiana when you're driving through, is that they have those big fields with the windmills.
Mm-hmm.
They just they go on for miles.
They're huge. It's like the Pink Floyd video with the marching. Like, just as you drive, you go and see all of these fields of these super tall windmills. And
yeah.
Like, whoa.
Just generating like energy.
All the energy.
Yeah, which is, I think, is great. Like, it's, using a natural resource.
Yeah.
In that regard. But just, they span miles and literally, because it's just flat ground.
Yeah.
And it's just fields of these massive windmills. And they just go off and they just fade into the distance.
Yeah.
It's so
Despite here,
cool.
There's no like hills where you have trees and everything and you can't see more than, 5 yards in front of you.
Yeah. Anyway, you mentioned that
cool.
drive. It instantly just took me back to that time.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to move back to North Carolina.
Terrible
driving
roads,
back
though.
through all of it.
Terrible roads up there.
In some spots,
because of the weather.
Yeah,
but Indiana is
those are
rough.
Weather beaten.
Don't think you're going to take a nap in the car in
God,
Indiana.
No. Definitely don't do that. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam this afternoon. College football season is less than 2 weeks away.
I know.
11 days. We're actually going to look at the FBS teams here in the state of North Carolina. Let's look at their first 3 games. I'm going to give you win totals for each school coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Football's fast approaching. Time to get in on all the action early this year. And Adam Gold here for FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You may have a favorite NFL future bet, like passing yards for your favorite quarterback, or maybe will your team make the playoffs? And you can parlay everything together for even bigger payouts. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. No better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Just go to FanDuel.com/AGS. Sign up today. FanDuel.com/AGS. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is excited to announce that the Canine Champions for Conservation is back for a second year. This guest-favorite experience features rescue dogs performing thrilling agility challenges to raise awareness and support for wildlife conservation efforts. Shows run now through Labor Day weekend and are free with entry to the North Carolina Zoo. To learn more about this tail-wagging experience and other zoo-related activities, visit nczoo.org. Plan your next zoo adventure today.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
You know, I know you've been playing a lot of Pantera and
Metallica, because that's who I saw in Chicago.
I know. I would actually love to see Metallica live in concert.
Oh, my goodness. They're so good every time.
It's funny how everyone talks about Virginia Tech football and, like, the Enter Sandman entrance, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's all you are now, Virginia Tech. Like, you're an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool. Like, you're the pro wrestler that has a great entrance, but once the actual bell rings, you can't go.
You're done.
You're not that great of a wrestler. That's basically what Virginia Tech is. They're an entrance right now. Now, they used to not be that. It used to be a big Beamer ball. Everyone loves Beamer ball, right? Okay, great defense, special teams. Like, we're blocking kicks. We're making the big-time returns. Like, special teams, baby, let's go.
Right?
Which I'm not going to lie. I'm actually one who actually enjoys watching special teams.
No, not the Panthers, though, that's for sure.
Well, hey.
But we're not
Amir
talking.
Smith-Marset and that long punt return against Chicago, hey, that got me steamed up. Like, let's go. Granted, that was the only touchdown they scored that game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not
Still.
the point. We're talking college football here in Victoria.
Yes.
By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam this afternoon. I was thinking about this upcoming season of college football here in the state of North Carolina. And I hope we have somewhat of a repeat, or maybe a repeat, or even better of what we saw in 2022, the college football season we had in this state. Because that year we had ECU had 8 wins. I think it was NC State had 8 or 9 wins. UNC had 9, went to the ACC championship game. Duke had a strong year their first year under Mike Elko, had 9 wins. Wake Forest had a really good season. App went 6-6. So of the FBS schools here in the state, 6 of the 7 finished with a 500 record or better, and 5 went to bowl games. App wasn't eligible because 2 of their wins came against FCS schools. My apologies. But speaking of the FCS here in the state of North Carolina, the Division I FCS level, we saw NC Central head coach Trey Oliver, shout out to the Eagles, won the Celebration Bowl. It was Elon, Gardner-Webb, Davidson, shout out to the Wildcats. They all made the postseason as well at the FCS playoffs. So the FCS level, we had 4 teams make postseason. We had 5 teams at the FBS level make bowl games. That's 9 Division I schools make it to the postseason here in the state of North Carolina. We had that in 2022. I say it's the best year of college football the state has probably seen as a whole. Now, there's been some individual years for some teams, like plenty of times where App State has won national championships and so on when they compete at the FCS level. But as a whole, one of the best, if not the best, was just 2 years ago of college football here in the state of North Carolina. So I was looking at the FBS schools here in the state, just kind of looking at the first 3 games. I always feel like the first 3 games really can tell a lot about a team's season. Like, it's either going to launch you, like, hey, you start 3-0, especially if you pick up a good win, that can really propel you into maybe a 9-3 year, which is great. Or if you start off 1-2, now you're playing from behind. You know, if you can push to 8-4, awesome, but it's a little bit more of a grind to get there. You give yourself very little cushion in that regard. So I went and looked. I was like, you know what? Let's go to the first 3 games of all the schools here in the state of North Carolina. Let's give win totals. Let's give win totals for all, just again, through the first 3 games for all the FBS schools here in the state of North Carolina. Are you starting your season strong? Yes or no? Let's go NC State. Let's start off with the Wolfpack. Home against Western Carolina. That's a Thursday game. Against Tennessee in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. Then home against Louisiana Tech. Now, technically, I think the game against Tennessee is a road game. I put air quotes on that because someone has to be the road team for a coin flip and all that kind of stuff. Now, I have no doubt Tennessee fans are going to travel. No doubt. But also have no doubt that state fans are going to be there. A lot of orange and red going to be in Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah.
A lot of orange and red. Very few blue seats are going to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
I think they go 3-0. I think they go 3-0 in this one. They have Western Carolina as kind of their tune-up game, figure things out, and I think they pull off the upset against Tennessee. I think they pull off the upset against Tennessee, and they should take care of business against Louisiana Tech. I always thought, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here. In their first 4 games, their 4th game of the year, they got to play Clemson on the road. I think Clemson might get them. But if they go through the first 3 games 3-0, you can have a loss against Clemson, and the way their schedule is set up, no reason why they can't get to an ACC championship game. No reason why. No reason why they shouldn't be there. So, yeah, NC State, 3-0 to start the year off. North Carolina, let's go UNC. They're on the road at Minnesota. Then they're home against Charlotte. And then they're home against North Carolina Central. I think they go 2-1. I think they go 2-1 in this one. Going on the road to Minnesota, Big Ten school. It's not going to be easy. Still don't know who the quarterback is going to be for North Carolina head coach Mack Brown. I think the quarterback competition might set their offense back a little bit in the sense that 2 guys or even 3 guys have been splitting reps with the first team, as opposed to we're like a school like NC State. They know Grayson McCall is their starting QB, and everything this offseason has been building around his strengths and the other guys that you brought in. You already know what that going in. UNC still hasn't fully figured out. At least that's what they've told us. So I'm going to go 2-1. They should beat Charlotte at home. They should beat NC Central at home. They should go 2-1 to start the year, which is a good start. And I think what probably could be an 8-4 year for Carolina, which is nothing to sneeze at. Duke, at home against Elon, at Northwestern, at home against UConn. I feel like this is a 3-0 start for Duke. Northwestern is in shambles right now with the offseason stuff with their whole athletic department, really, but especially their football team, their head coach getting fired. There's so much turnover and turmoil in that program. I think you should win at home against Elon, which is kind of like your tune-up game. It's an FCS opponent coming in just from down the road from Burlington to Durham. Easy trip for Elon, at least in terms of distance. But that's kind of your tune-up game. Assuming Malik Murphy is going to be your starting quarterback. Again, Manny Diaz gets that first win. everything starts feeling good. Then you go up to Northwestern, you kind of make those adjustments. I think Northwestern is because they're doing renovations to their stadium. I don't think they're even playing. I think they're playing where the like lacrosse team plays, like in that stadium. They're putting some temporary bleachers and stuff in. So it's a program that's in transition. I think they can go on the road and get that win. UConn's not going to be easy. We saw UConn Duke play last year. I don't think UConn's necessarily going to be easy with Jim Moore Jr. as their head coach. Really seems like that school's investing a lot into football. It's not going to be easy, but it should be a win. So I think they might go 3-0. I'm going to give Duke 3-0 to start the year, Victoria.
I like it.
Now let's go to Wake Forest.
Oh, boy.
Big battle in the Triad, North Carolina A&T. The Aggies go to Winston-Salem from Greensboro. That should be a win to start the year. Virginia at Wake Forest in week 2. Virginia, by a lot of people, is picked to finish last or near the bottom of the ACC. Tony Elliott having a little bit of trouble turning things around up in Charlottesville. That should be a win. Then the big one, Ole Miss comes into town.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 team. It's weird seeing an SEC school like Ole Miss playing up at Wake Forest. I don't know. You see that matchup, you're like, wait, Ole Miss is at Wake Forest?
Right. Weird.
Okay. All right. Yeah, weird. Exactly.
Interesting.
Weird. Okay. Weird. Because you never think of these two schools ever playing each other in anything.
Mm-mm.
But Ole Miss is coming up for a football game.
We'll take it.
But hey, for them, they're probably thinking we can chalk off like a Power 5 win on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I said it earlier when we talked about the AP Top 10 of college football. Can't wait to see Wake Forest. Can't wait to see Wake Forest nip Ole Miss. Can't wait for it. So give it to me 3-0 Wake.
I know. I like it. I hope they work those kinks out from last year because they have so much potential. So.
And here's the thing with Dave Clawson is that occasionally they have that kind of down year, but he turns it back fast.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so much consistency in that program. And honestly, it's one of the more not just overlooked, almost said overrated, one of the more overlooked and underrated programs in the ACC. It's one of the more overlooked and underrated programs in college football is Wake Forest. They're consistently good there in Wake. I get it. It's the smallest Power 5 or Power 4 school in the entire country. I totally get it. But does that mean their athletic department's bad? No, I don't think so at all. Let's go to Charlotte. Charlotte at home against James Madison, who's had a lot of roster turnover this season. Then they're on the road at North Carolina. Then they're at home against Gardner-Webb. JMU really grew onto the scene over the last couple of years, especially last year, getting into the top 25. I think JMU comes in and beats Charlotte. Already said that UNC is going to beat Charlotte in Chapel Hill in week 2, but Charlotte should take care of Gardner-Webb. Little battle down there in the Queen City. So I think Charlotte starts off the year 1-2. Let's get to East Carolina. Shout out to our good friends out there in Greenville.
Yeah, the Pirates.
ECU. Norfolk State at home. Then they're at ODU. Then home against App. Give me 2-1 start for the Pirates and Coach Mike Houston. Give me 2-1 start. They should beat Norfolk State. I haven't gone on the road beating Old Dominion. You know why? Because I'm just feeling it. That's it. Going off vibes here,
Just
Victoria.
go with your gut. Yeah.
And then, the game honestly, the game I'm probably most looking forward to this college football season here in the state of North Carolina. Week 3, they're home against App.
Yes.
Gosh, I cannot wait for that game.
On the mountain.
I want to go to
Not
that
on
game.
On the coast, yeah. I can't wait for that.
Like, coming down, Mountaineers coming down the mountain.
And they will travel, too.
They will, because there's a lot of App people here where we're located in Raleigh, including yourself.
Me.
Including yourself. In the building we work in, there's a lot of
There's
App
a lot of
people
us
here.
around here. A lot of
But
years.
I'm not going to lie. That game is going to be electric.
Oh,
the atmosphere at Dowdy-Ficklin with App.
Yep. Battle of the Coasts.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But I think App takes that game, which actually leads us into App State for our final FBS team here. At home against East Tennessee State, on the road at Clemson, then at East Carolina. That's not an easy, second and third game of the year. You got to go to Clemson, which is, again, not going to be an easy game.
Tough.
Then you got to follow that up going to ECU. They should definitely beat East Tennessee State. I think they dropped the one against Clemson. But I think they go on the road to Dowdy-Ficklin and App State. The Mountaineers get the win. So give me ECU 2-1 to start the year. Also give me App State 2-1 to start the year, Victoria.
Okay. I mean, I can get down with that.
I am so pumped. I hope we continue to see moving forward App and ECU play each other every year. I really wanted to go to the game last year in Boone at Kid Brewer when ECU was there.
So fun to watch games up there.
It's so weird talking we're talking group of 5 level college football, but I was like, y'all don't get it. Like in this state, like those are football schools.
Yes.
They are football schools and diehard fan bases that love to party. They really do.
Doesn't matter what the weather is.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I think that's also kind of like the fun part of like those two schools, because you get the Boone up there in the mountains, where I actually went to a game, cover the game when I think it was Georgia State. I think it was the Georgia State game they played 2 years ago. It was like middle of October. It was a night game on a Wednesday or Thursday. It was a middle of the week game. And I was like, man, bitter cold up here. It's October.
Yep.
It's chilly up here. It's chilly.
Definitely snow.
There wasn't any snow that day, but I was like, a little nippy up here. And everyone was up there, was just loving it. But you go to ECU down in Greenville, it's like you're out there near the coast. You can almost smell and taste the salt water in the air. You're not that far from it. And I think to me, it's a perfect picture of what the state of North Carolina has to offer from not only just a sports standpoint, but just culturally, and just what the landscape of the state has to offer. Because again, get the mountain on the western part of the state, get closer to the coast there in the eastern part of the state, and everything in between. I think it really just embodies the state of North Carolina as a whole, from the tailgating culture, the sports, the landscape, everything that we have to offer as a state. That's the reason why I love that matchup so much. I think it really embodies the state of North Carolina as a whole in so many different ways. So I hope that matchup, I want that every year.
I love it.
I want it every year. I want it. Speaking of culture here in the state of North Carolina, by the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Victoria is back. From Chicago. Her little hiatus. Adam will be back tomorrow.
I know, yeah.
But something that we have here, speaking of culture here in the state of North Carolina, college basketball obviously reigns supreme in this state in so many different ways. And I think our state is known for that. From a national standpoint, college basketball is woven into the fabric of our society. It's part of our identity and our sports culture. And when I was watching USA basketball, both men and women in the Olympics, I think a lot of people can probably sit there and say, well, yeah, I think a lot of other parts of the world have closed the gap significantly on basketball here in the United States. And it's not like our basketball has gotten worse. It's just what is being produced internationally has gotten so much better. There's so many NBA level players that are coming from international. I mean, gosh, look at the biggest stars in basketball. Nikola Jokic, Serbian. Luka Doncic, Slovenian. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greece. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is actually Canadian. Like, there's a lot of RJ Barrett, who we saw play at Duke.
Yeah.
3rd overall pick is from Canada. Disappointing finish for Canada, by the way. Don't you know?
Mm-hmm.
But here in the United States, I think this is an opportunity that I think that hopefully here in basketball needs to realize that we have to, in order to maintain that gap, or maybe even increase it back to what we've known it as, we have to adapt to what other countries are doing to develop their basketball players. And the reason why I say is this. I mean, guys, look at Victor Wembanyama for France, who's 7'4" and can handle a basketball like LeBron almost can. He's 7'4". He's not just a big, tall guy. He's a big, tall guy that has skill and can knock down three-pointers because he's trained that at a young age. Trained ball. This we saw Dirk Nowitzki, the Dallas Mavericks, for so many years, was trained in guard skills and ball handling at such a young age that as he grew, those skills translated. We see so much in basketball culture here, and whether it's high school, AAU, and eventually into college, guys just playing above the rim just because they're so athletic and so explosive that they don't really learn the intricacies of ball handling and how to actually create space to finish around the rim. They're just like, I'm just bigger, athletic, and more stronger than you. I'm just going to blow past you and dunk it. That helps to an extent and to a certain point, But when you actually need to make a jump shot, can you create that space? And this is something we see international players, I think, do so well. And this is where actually I want to see the college basketball game evolve. There's some different rules with FIBA and the NBA that are different than college basketball. Not saying I want NBA style basketball in college. I want to see the skills that college players are going to need, whether they get to the NBA or whether they play overseas, that they play under FIBA rules, these skills that need to translate. For example, in college basketball, as soon as you stop your dribble, you have 1 foot on the floor, that's step one. You get step number 2. Anything more than that is considered a travel. In FIBA, international, or we see in the NBA, their rules are similar to each other, but they're different than college. If I end my dribble, I have 1 foot that's on the floor. As I pick up my dribble, that's considered the gather step, or step 0. Then I get 2 steps after that. That's why I say, we see all this traveling in the NBA. It's travel, you get 3 steps. So actually, no, the rules are different. It's guys playing to the rules. So that is actually where I want to see college basketball translate, because these college players that eventually get to the NBA, they're actually at somewhat of a disadvantage when it comes to ball handling when they go from college to the NBA, because they have to learn a new skill set. They have to learn a new set of rules when it comes to that. And this is where I want to see the NBA make sure, or the college basketball, make sure that they have a step up on other international players of that same age that are growing up, or at least be on par with the rules that they're being taught. This is the reason why you see international players coming to the NBA and they have that skill set that others do not, because they had that growing up. And I think this is also imperative, not only for basketball here in the United States, but I think it's also good for the game of college basketball. Because I think when you adapt those rules that the NBA and FIBA have when it comes to ball handling and footwork, you're going to see a better game. Watching international basketball, I'm not going to lie, the style of play, I loved it. I think it's even better than what the NBA, in terms of style of play. Now, the NBA players are better. That's not what I'm saying. NBA players are the best players. But style of play, I thought the game was more fluid. The ball moved better. I thought the finishing ability, both from the outside and around the rim, I think was better as well. Or at least it was more efficient. I thought it was better. The style of play. Imagine if our best players, like we have in the NBA, are playing the best style, if that makes sense. That's what I want to see. I want to see the game evolve. NBA basketball, for me, as talented and skilled as those players are, NBA basketball can be really hard to watch sometimes. It can be really hard to watch. It's just like, go down the court, let me chuck up this 3, kind of lazily get back on defense. All right, no one's actually getting back on defense. I'll throw the ball up. Let me just take it to the rim and I'll dunk it real fast. But the competition that we saw in the Olympics was amazing. And I want to see the game grow and evolve here in the United States. Yeah, we have the best players. We do. I just want to see it grow. I think it's best. If you miss anything here on the Adam Gold Show, by the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. If you miss any of this show, make sure you subscribe on the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Apple, Spotify, you name it, YouTube. It's all out there for you. Also, speaking of YouTube, 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show, which is where we are currently at this moment, Victoria and myself. Follow 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. You can watch the Adam Gold Show. It's streamed live on YouTube, all 3 hours of the show. You can interact with us. You can leave comments in the chat section that's live out there right now. You can interact there. The videos that are posted, there are clips from the show that are posted on the YouTube page. Leave comments there as well. We want to hear what you as a listener, your thoughts, your feelings. If you disagree with us, fine. If you agree with us, that's also fine too. We want to know what you all are thinking as well. So make sure you subscribe there and leave your thoughts and comments. Victoria, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
And the
Missed
crew
you
is going to be
guys.
back together tomorrow because Adam's going to be back in his chair.
I know. It's going to be weird.
No, it's going to be like riding a bike. It's been the Adam Gold Show. Until next time, I bid you adieu. Goodbye and good night.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months